The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the host/guest and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any of BXR entities and those they represent.
Oh, okay. I was muted. Welcome to Talk Lately. It is Tuesday, July 26th at 7:26 p.m. We are live coming out of Baltimore. There's just so much going on right now. We have a really
you heard them.
We got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to get into talking about Keke Palmer and how they're trying to compare her to Zendaya, or Zendaya, however you like to pronounce it. We got Erica Jane, who's facing a $50 million lawsuit, and Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams' ex-husband. He's talking about Charlemagne right now. So I'm going to let the panel in right at this moment. We're joined with ChasReal. Is that where we're going to go with that? Okay.
Yeah, she's going to get it eventually.
Eventually. I got to say it a lot to get the, she's Chastity to me.
I know I haven't talked to you lately, but you'll get it. It's Chastity, whatever you want to call me.
Chastity, right. She's Chastity to me.
Case Mix, yeah.
And then we got Nate Couser, the host of the Artist Exchange, every Friday at 5 p.m. You still muted, buddy. You still muted. You still muted. Unmute.
That's because I didn't want to hear, because I seen it said Chastity something. What you been saying, E?
I just said, hey, Chastity.
Oh, okay.
He keep telling people my whole name.
You are Nate Couser, right? It's in your banner.
Yeah, but I don't feel
I didn't say the entire name, including the middle.
Oh.
Well, you don't know the middle.
Expose them.
You don't. Nobody knows the middle name.
I know it.
What it begin with?
I gotta get you up there, get you a couple more drinks.
Well, there's more to the first name. There's more to the first name.
Right, and nobody knows that. I don't tell nobody that.
What part?
Nobody.
Which part?
The rest of my first name, nobody knows my middle name. People may think they know my first name, but they don't. They think that's my middle name. I keep them confused.
Or guessing.
Yeah.
Sharon says, I know it.
He knows the first name.
Tell me, Sharon, tell me. Isn't
I think I know it too. I think I know it too, but I'm not gonna put it.
Nobody knows.
Put anybody out there.
You may know the part of my first name.
Oh yeah, I know that. Definitely know that part.
You don't know the middle name. I keep that under locks. I ain't never get.
Sharon says I know the middle too.
Okay. Ooh. All right.
Okay. Look, he been quiet because he must know. Sharon knows.
Don't nobody know. I swear. Like most of my family don't even know that name because I don't give it up.
Wow.
How your family don't know it though?
Because I don't ever use it. It don't even go with the rest of my name. So
When you
I
say
never
family,
knew.
you mean like younger members of your family? Because I would think your older members would know
Yeah,
because they
like
would have been
my
around when you
aunts
were
and them,
born.
like, yeah, the older members may know, but most of them don't even, because I never use it.
I'm sure it's
Oh,
fine.
Sharon said it's top secret because you told her.
It ends in your mind.
No, but see, it's two parts of my first name, and many people think that's my middle name.
Right. No,
So I
I knew
don't
that.
even, but the middle name, no, because it's just,
She
it's
said, I'm
too
yelling at
hood.
my phone and all my pain.
It's too hood. Get out of here. You is from the
My
hood.
rest of
Don't
my
do that.
name is so normal, and then that they don't even go together. So I don't
I
even.
think I know it. I just can't. I can't place it right now, but I think I know it.
But that's all right. After a couple of shots of whole or something.
Oh, that's the
I
one
can't
thing
see
that
it
never
continue
get
to
out. You get a lot of information, but you can't get that one out.
Well, I mean, if you don't know by now, I just came back from the Grand Cayman Islands, and I must say, I wasn't all that impressed.
Mm.
It
The
was,
best in the Caribbean, the best place to go to is St. Thomas or yeah, St. Thomas. That's the best one of out of all the Caribbean islands to go to.
But it still was an experience. But I guess
Mm.
you had a certain.
I don't think St. Thomas is the best because still no one has beat my experience at in the DR. So,
The
and I've
DR,
been to several of them now at this point, and the Grand Cayman was not it. It was just not. I mean, as far as the island is concerned,
Yes.
it was okay. It was good. I mean, if you just
Okay.
gone there, if you were just going there for beaches and things like that, the 7 Mile Beach, amazing, beautiful.
Mm.
The water was beautiful. Um, I never got to see a sea turtle. I never got to see a stingray. I never got to see a dolphin, nothing, because everything is too expensive there.
yeah.
Mm.
Their price can be, you know, if we reverse $1, it was worth $1.25 to $1.50 there. And there's no all inclusive. There was none of that. So it was like you had to pay for every single thing. We had a rental car and we rode back and forth all over this island, which was a great experience. We got to see how they lived and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, no, I'll never return. Sorry. Unless somebody, I mean, I know people there now, so I might go there for them. And then we met a couple people that like live in Jamaica that work on the island. They was like, come on over, I'll take you around to Jamaica.
If
Sharon just asked me how much was gas. Gas was $7 and some change there.
Yeah.
And that was in their money, but that was in their money. $7.
Right.
It was between $6.50 and $7.50 in their money. So in our money, it was like $8 to $10
Okay.
per gallon.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's why I like St. Thomas a little bit more. Or St. Lucia is nice, but I like St. Thomas better.
That's what I want to go to next, St. Lucia.
I like
St. Lucia has some that was some beautiful water around there. I seen this house that I might want to rent that was like on a cliff. It was a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom house on a cliff, and you walk down these stairwells to get down to the water, and the rocky part where you can jump off the cliff into the water and stuff like that.
Oh, that's sexy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I still have to. I mean, you know, the Dominican is a much larger island than all of these other islands, and
Right.
I guess it was because it's more domesticated, but in a third world country-ish feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not looking for going to, and I was trying to tell my best friend this too. I'm not looking to go to another island to experience what I experience here. I'm not looking for creature comforts like here, because then it's not an experience. It's like being at home. I might as well stay at home in the heat.
Right. I get that. I feel
The
like
only
that all
difference
the
is that
time.
there's crystal clear water.
If I'm going, so that's why I try to look for, different activities and stuff that I don't get to do every day here. But just like the norm and just going
That's
to
the
a
thing. There was no
bar,
real
going to
activities there
eat.
besides going snorkeling with the stingrays and the turtles and stuff like that. There was no
And
real
what they were charging
activities.
for that? Because you said
It was relatively a nice price. It was like $65.
okay.
We ended up going on a rum tour, that was good. We got drunk. They gave you all kinds of different rums, all kinds of different vodkas, all kinds of different
Yeah, that's what
liquors
they
that
do on the islands.
distilled
They
on the
love
island.
rum.
And I brought back some I left it upstairs. But I had some banana rum cake that I brought back and some what I'm gonna call it? Cinnamon rum raisin cake. And then I bought a bottle of their banana rum that they make that you're supposed to, you could pour it on anything and turn it into some kind of rum cake. So that was
Mhm.
good.
It sounds like it.
I did eat first before I had the rum. I actually made breakfast because we went right after we had breakfast, and I prepared breakfast for us that morning. I wish I had some pictures to show you. I do have a ton of pictures, but I didn't do it for this broadcast to put them up. But yeah, I made breakfast that morning. We had waffles, sausage, eggs, and some fried potatoes, and it was they loved it. But it was a
Okay.
good trip. All in all, it was a good trip. The last leg of the flight, I don't know why. I'm not into layovers and anything like that. All my flights, I'm used to being direct. So on this trip, I ended up, settling because I needed to get out of this freaking country for a layover where it took on the first leg, it was only 2 hours, which wasn't bad. That actually went very fast and we got there on time. The second part of the trip, we had to spend a little bit more time in the airport, almost 5 hours in between our two flights.
Yeah,
No.
I don't like when it's a layover and it's like 5 or 6 hours because by the time you get outside the airport, it's time to come back. Like if I get to
We
spend
didn't even
like a
leave the
day
airport. That's what
somewhere,
I said. But we had the best
yeah,
time at this layover. It was I guess it was because it was like, I had people to talk to. We did things. We walked all around the place, all around the
Right.
airport and stuff like that. Went to
yeah,
Starbucks like several different times. And I didn't mind it. I'm typically it's like because I typically travel alone or the people that come with me are so spaced out that they don't take the same flights as me. So
Right.
this was an experience like no other. I enjoyed that. As long as I'm with somebody, I can do a layover. If I don't have nobody with me, I ain't gonna be able to do it. So that's how I feel about that. If you're planning the trip and you
I
want to
get
invite
it.
me, if you're there, I'll go with you. But I'm not going alone.
Well, good to know.
It was a good time though. We had a great trip. It was where we stayed at was called Savannah, Georgetown, and it's at the southern coast of the Grand Cayman. And this nice old condo, 2-bedroom condo. It was beautiful. I wish I had the pictures to show you because the words can't speak to how this
Yes.
condo was set up to be on this beach. Like we had our own beach out back.
Okay.
And that's what we did the first night we got there because I think we arrived around about 4. We were early because we had to do early check-in. So it was like 2 o'clock. We got there about 2 o'clock. So we ended up getting to the beach at 4, which wasn't a good time to go because the tide was starting to come in. And so the water was rising along with the seaweed was rising. So it was kind of cloudy, but we ended up getting in anyway.
But
And
it
then we
still was cute
realized that
though.
the
That just
best
ain't
time,
cute.
and we realized the best time to swim in the ocean is between 8 a.m. when when the
Hmm.
sun is coming up and the sun is at its highest, all the way to around about 3 o'clock, because that's when the tide is still low, and the water is a little bit more visible. Because
Okay.
we still couldn't see. It was a whole bunch of on our beach. We had a whole bunch of dark spaces where we couldn't tell if it was seaweed or if it was coral.
Ooh.
Turns out it was coral, and we were scared because we didn't want to go over by the seaweed because you can't see through it, and it could be a shark or something. We're creeps.
See.
All in all, I give the Grand Cayman a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Well, the time seems like it was more grand at the Grand Canyon. I
Yeah, I
want to
mean,
go.
and plus there was no nightlife. There was no nightlife. Absolutely none. You need to be in the house basically by 8 o'clock, and that's when everybody else is in the house. There was one place that was open to 2 a.m., and that's where we ate at twice while we were there.
Mm.
those places are more
See.
residential. I mean, they got big tourists, but they're heavy residential too. So
Right. The hotels are all on the 7 Mile Strip. Um, like everybody that lives on the island, if you live on the island, you more than likely have a roommate or 3. The lady
Right.
that was our bartender, that was our waitress in this place called Legends, which is the only place that was open to 2 a.m. every night. Mind you, we were only there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we were there during the week. Nothing, no nightlife. So she was like, "You gotta come back on a Friday." No, I'm not coming back. You've already ruined this for me. That's okay. I'm not coming back for a Friday nightlife. Are you kidding
She
me?
was trying to
No.
sell it.
You want tourists to come here, and the only experience we can do is when the daylight is out. That's not okay. What about the nightlife? What about, there was no club.
They don't have it. A lot of those outlets are not set up for that. There's only a few that have really
Right,
set
but
up
you can't expect visitors to come and only have to celebrate during the day.
Right. I mean, when people go out of town, the thought is like, you want to have fun.
We
You
want
want
to party. You want to drink. You want to drink all night.
Right.
And the only way you could drink all night is if you went to the liquor store and brought it back to your home. That was it.
Well, baby,
If you
they
can do
had
that, you
y'all
can
on
do
the
that at
side.
home. You can do that at home. Why come here to do that?
They had y'all on a Tide schedule.
Basically. All right, so let's talk about this one first because Chastity brought this to my attention
Well, welcome back.
right before. Thank you. Right before the show, Chastity brought this to my attention. A Baltimore area woman was arrested after shooting her husband in a DC hotel and says he molested children in her daycare business. Her name is Shantiri Weems, 50, of Randallstown, and she told police that she shot her husband because she believed he had molested children in her daycare she runs in Owings Mills. The Baltimore Sun is not identifying the man, a former Baltimore police officer who retired from the department in 2005, then worked as a contract specialist until 2008 because he has not been charged with a crime.
Well, some sources that I read are identifying him, so I don't know if it's okay to say the same. But allegedly, at first, yes, he was arrested because he survived it. He survived it. He was shot in his head, but he survived it. This was on a Thursday, and then on Tuesday, he was arrested on a suspicion. But I just now got some other sources. I believe I was on the Fox News.
Was he arrested? Because if he got shot in the head, I'm sure he's probably still in the hospital.
No, it says that he was arrested. And on Tuesday, he was arrested for suspicion of molesting girls. That's what it's saying. Well,
so I wonder when they say he was arrested that he was just like handcuffed to the bed.
Yeah.
He was shot in the head.
But it still was if they deemed him okay, and they did what they had to do for him, and they was able to release him. If there's any, especially with a child, if there's any allegation, you're going to jail, buddy.
Right, and it was some type of standoff or whatever else like that. So I guess even a headshot, the gunshot wound, I don't think it was like put him in a critical condition. So maybe it just grazed him or whatever because they don't really speak on the specifics of the wound. They just mentioned that he was shot in the head. So it may possibly be a graze or whatever, but it doesn't state anything about the condition of him being like critical or anything, because to my understanding, it was a standoff for a couple of hours or maybe a few to take both of them, to take her into custody and then take him to the hospital. But just like I said, as I've read on, it actually says that she was charged with domestic violence and gun charges, and he also was charged with sexual abuse of children. So that's two different things.
Yeah. As long as, if he was charged while he was
because this wouldn't have been a self-defense situation.
And then when they're ready to release him, he's going bye-bye.
Right. But why I mentioned it to you, Monny, because it was just real interesting to me. And I get it, because everyone that I'm just hearing, talking about it around the streets, on social media, everyone is basically rooting for Miss Wims, saying that.
Well, I understand where they're coming from with the rotation for her, meaning that she's trying to protect the children.
Right.
But you schemed, which is the problem, right? Because you are not the one that should be doing this. The police should be.
Right.
And you schemed to get him to a hotel.
No. No. The fact says that they were actually at the hotel because she was due to attend an event in DC. So they were set up in a 400 a night room hotel stay. And what actually happened is that when they were there, I guess on that first night, she received a text from the parents letting her know that they had reported her husband for, molesting their children.
Right. Okay.
So I guess in that moment, and then they, got into an argument, some type of argument pursued, and she shot him. And it was a standoff, and the police arrested her and took him to the hospital. So initially, I did think that. I said, "Oh, she set
right." But
him
either way, she still is she claiming self-defense?
I don't think so. She
or did she approach him?
She's been
and then in the midst of him telling her what happened or him admitting to it, she shot him. Either way, it's illegal.
Yeah, either way, it's illegal.
Either way, you took a gun with you.
Exactly. Right. I mean, I don't know what the gun was for. Like, was it his gun? Was it her gun? But it could,
But
either way, you shot
part.
him for something that you shouldn't have been the one that's being the
right. And I get that. And it may have been his gun, and it might have been something that they usually do, because again, they were going down there to attend an event. He is a retired cop.
That's what I'm saying. So it might have been his gun, and he was licensed to carry. So she may have took his gun and shot him with his own gun.
Right. Well, we know on the legal ones, no, it's not right. Like they say, you should leave the law into the police hands. But I just guess that it probably was that moment of snap insanity. Can you imagine being somewhere, going to an event, you in this 400, this lavish hotel? Well, it's lavish enough, $400 a night. And you get this text from some parents saying that your husband, not knowing if y'all just finished doing the do or doing whatever, you know what I mean? And saying that your husband molested them. So whatever she said to him after getting this text, she wasn't feeling
right. But what would make you believe? I mean, just playing devil's advocate. What would make you believe them over your husband?
If it was multiple times,
I don't know, and because I believe that it's children. See, I believe that.
How old is? Again, I'm playing devil's advocate because you told me about the story, so I'm just questioning on the basis of that. Like, how old are these children?
It's
daycare. So when you think of daycare, they have to be little children. And just like I say, to follow up. Sources, I should have seen where I got it from, but actually says that now he was charged for sexual abuse of children. So it must be some type of evidence as to what's what. I mean, I guess because they're children, is at a daycare center, so I'm thinking these are very young.
They have that. I mean, most daycares see children up into elementary school age, so that could be up to 10 years old.
But that's young. Yeah, that's young.
Even, I mean, if they were older than that, still, I mean, and the only thing that I can think that if in fact she just found out, because it don't, for me, stuff like this, one, how did he have access to these children? Was it a legal daycare center? How did he have access to these children? Because if it's in your home, it's supposed to be separate from your residency. So nobody from your residency.
Well, they live in Randallstown, and the daycare is in Owens Mills.
Yeah, and it's not really stating specifically if the daycare is running her house or she actually has a center.
Right.
But it says that
but that's what I'm saying. It says on here. This one says that she's of Randallstown, and the daycare is in Owens Mills.
Okay, so it's
so that means he was there. Like, was he an employee? Like, all those things I would think would be going through her mind while she's thinking, because she could lose her license. She could be charged.
Yeah, her daycare is closed until the investigation moves forward.
Right. So that's
it's called the Little Kids Castle.
Right, that's CPS. So anything with CPS, you're not touching no more children until they decide if she had something to do with it, if she actually did it. So no more $400 a night hotels for you.
And guess what, though? To add on to that, even after the CPS charge, the fact that she is charged with this can be very detrimental to her business. The fact that she's been charged now with domestic violence and with this gun charge is definitely going to just affect the business overall, because with those type of charges, it's always a red light when working with children. So even if nothing comes out that she didn't know, she, had this moment of complete insanity and shot her husband, unfortunately,
I
It
mean,
might still be
I would say I don't
boxing
know
my
if I would be
business.
able to continue to do it anyway, because psychologically, even
Yes,
on my
I would
behalf,
not.
I
I
done
would be
went through this.
scared that
Now
something would
I
else
got to go
happen to
through this,
someone
a
else's kid.
divorce, the legal proceedings, all of this. I don't know if I would want to open my daycare back up anyway. I mean, you're always going to have that scar from this whole entire
Right.
incident on your business.
But if she clears her name, if her name gets cleared in this, she'll be fine. It's just people are willing to overlook things. There are a lot of criminals who own assisted livings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But it's
true.
the fact that if there was prior knowledge to this, like if there was an incident outside of the daycare center that something happened, like if he on us, why is he retired from the police department? Like if there's prior history, then it's gonna be on her. Because you
But
need to
it's
know everybody
different.
that
But
comes
it's
in
different when I guess working with them children, working the center. I mean, that's just far as the knowledge that I know. I hope that all works out for her. Glad that the husband survived if for anything, because I want to know. I want to know the story. It's one of those, because I'm like, whatever that text said. Well, we know what that said, but however that conversation went, like, right, she took it there. So, I mean, my thing is, Monty, you say you play the devil advocate. I just be like thinking and looking in all different type of lights, and I'm like, oh, he ain't say something right. Like, I think
not
it was more too.
But what if it was multiple parents that was saying this?
And it
In
doesn't
her
say that.
mind, that's her bread and butter. Fuck what he's bringing in. That's your bread and butter. And if that gets taken away from her, that's everything. You don't know what he's contributing, or I would be thinking about my ends.
So what you saying? So what you saying is that it's not really about the allegations of the molestation. It's just to the point once she found out that this was a situation and she snapped.
If that's what she found out, if that's when, because it's because this will go to trial, it's gonna be more stuff that come out. Maybe he was cheating. Maybe he had slept with a young teenager before and she caught him. Like some of these women deal with anything, and they'll put up with anything sometimes just to have somebody warm beside them. And I'm not saying that about her, but I don't put nothing past people.
I'm just saying, well, everyone is on her side. Everyone is rallying for Miss Wims. Everyone is saying good. He deserved it. And that was just that was interesting to me, because I know it's a very sensitive subject when you talk about children being molested and everything. But it's like, okay, they doing an investigation. So when I later seen that he was actually charged with sexual abuse, I was like, oh no. It must already be some evidence or something on the table. I don't know if the kids is evaluated.
With children, it don't matter. When it comes to children, the charges are going to stick until you prove otherwise. So all a child got to do is say this happened, and that's what you're charged with until that CPS investigation, and now it's CPS and the police investigation. It's done. It's not just like a teacher hitting a child. You touched that child inappropriately. So now it's going beyond just CPS. This is a criminal investigation. So they don't play. They do not play.
I see, and evidently Ms. Wims don't. Whatever it was, whether it was the fact that bag was ready to get snatched, and it still happened anyway, from her actions or just the allegations alone. I mean, she shot him in his head and he survived. So we'll see, because it's a real controversial story. Everyone's talking about it, and especially that they're right here close, in Maryland.
Well, we're definitely gonna
it's
keep
being
our
talked
eye on
about. Yeah.
All right, so I want to talk about this monkeypox crap, right?
What's that?
What's that?
Next week it'll be something else. Next month it'll be something
super
else.
chicken pox.
Okay.
It really is the way it looks.
Right, yeah, the bumps
they
are
real big.
are
They
so
real
much
big.
bigger.
Ooh,
Yeah, the bumps are bigger. Oh my God, it's a little man.
Oh, I'm itching.
The bumps are a little are bigger.
Well, I wonder if you can get it if you ever had chicken pox. Is it
It's
like
not
that?
chicken pox. It's I said
okay.
it's super chicken pox, but it's
Oh,
not
okay.
chicken pox.
Chicken pox is a form of herpes, so that's something different.
Oh, well, guess what? I had him as a child.
We all did.
That's what you were saying. Okay.
Not we all did.
Everybody,
Not
everybody
everybody.
did not have chicken pox.
I'm finding
Everybody
more
did not have chicken
people
pox.
that have
Well,
not
if you don't get chicken pox, you probably gonna get shingles.
Yep.
Yeah, they said that.
Because I've seen lately more people now that have not had them that I was like, wow, where you grow up at? Like that have not had them, then have had them.
They may not have had siblings.
They was putting it in us in the vaccine. That's why it was 70s and 80s, them 70s and 80 babies, chicken pox.
Well,
when they got to like the 90s and the 2000s, it was unheard of.
We're gonna stop that right now because that is not true.
When?
That's not true. You are talking about smallpox and chickenpox are two separate things.
No, I'm talking about chickenpox.
No, chickenpox, it was not in the vaccine. Smallpox was in the vaccine. Yes.
No, chickenpox
is not. Chickenpox is contagious, but it can be deadly, but it's not deadly.
I'm not saying that it was a vaccine for the chickenpox. I'm just saying that they administered it to us through the vaccinations because it was real.
But I think you're thinking of smallpox and not chickenpox.
No, I mean that's possible too.
Because the only thing that's in our vaccine, the vaccines that we take as a child for a pox is small and rubella.
No, she was saying they may have put it in the vaccine.
But in what vaccine? You can't say they may have. Either you know or you don't.
No, I don't like
she's
not talking about smallpox.
You know it or you don't. You don't spread disinformation. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, it's you don't know. You don't know why you got chickenpox. And why all these 2,000?
But I didn't get I do know why I got chickenpox. It wasn't because I went and got a vaccine and then I got chickenpox.
But wasn't you vaccinated?
I had chickenpox when I was 13.
But you got vaccinated though. But you still got vaccinated though.
My vaccines were all done though at that point. If I hadn't had all my vaccines before I was 5,
then something was wrong. The point that I was making. I'm not saying things. That's the point that I was making. I'm not saying that it's facts or not. I'm not saying that it was a vaccine for chickenpox. But what I'm saying is that my thought is a lot of these illnesses come from the vaccinations that they give us. And it's not miraculous that back then in the 70s and 80s, when chickenpox was like at high rates, everybody's getting vaccinated. That was my point. I wasn't saying it was a vaccination for the chickenpox. I just was saying that that's my thought. That's my thought on the vaccinations. That's it. Just like this monkeypox. My thought on that is that it's attached to the COVID vax. That's just my thought. And it's not facts. It's my thought, right?
Right. But I prefer you to say it that way then.
Okay. That's how I thought I was saying.
Your opinion.
I definitely agree with you. Because I've seen in the last couple of years more hoof and mouth disease than I've ever seen before. And I ain't never seen that shit before.
What is it?
Whooping cough.
Oh. Okay.
I just think I definitely agree there's a correlation.
I think it's something in it that that just produces it more or, puts you more at high risk that breaks something down in your immune system that produces it. I guess I should have said that.
They can keep denying it all they want to, but I definitely agree with that also.
But I'm glad I didn't see it.
Who's denied anything?
You did.
Well, I'm glad I didn't see it because I'm.
No, actually, I did not. I didn't deny anything. I said I only want to hear facts. That's what I said.
Well, that's my facts.
It wasn't a fact. That was a thought.
And the thing is, realistically, we don't know no facts about these vaccinations. It's whatever they tell us.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily, because you could do some research and find out the nitty gritty. But we won't do that. That's the thing. We won't do that. We rather do research.
You'll see all of the research on how vaccinations has affected us, and that a lot of the facts about the vaccines that they don't put out there.
Anybody can write a research paper and get it published, and then it's fact out in the world. Anybody can do that. You don't agree?
No, I didn't hear, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part. It blanked out.
So I said anybody can write a research paper as a doctor or doctor candidate and have it published, and then we have facts, and then that's what the research is. That's what you're going back to research. These doctors or student doctors that wrote these papers that got published, and that's where the research is coming from. So they can put anything in there.
Right, but that's research, not fact. Again,
they claim it as fact because they all have.
No, they claim findings. They don't claim facts. They claim findings.
So what's your facts, sir? What's your facts you were sharing about this monkeypox?
Oh, I wasn't sharing no facts. I was sharing that there was another. I was getting ready to share another incident until we got to discussion about science and what is fact and what is not, and what is our research, and then what is our thought versus.
But they deliver it all to us as facts.
No, but see, that's not what happens. What happens is people like us, I'll put myself in there, we get on our airwaves and then try to say what our thoughts are facts.
No, I don't think
that's not what I said.
But yes, that is exactly how it came off.
No, she said, in my opinion. She started with my opinion.
Thank you.
She started with in my opinion.
And you know,
that's not what she started with. That's not why she started, and we could go back.
That is. That's the first thing she said, in my opinion.
Please run it back.
In my opinion.
Please run it back. Because I know. Please run it back.
I heard her say it.
We'll go back in a minute, but I can't go back right at this moment. I know I really can't. I can't rewind back right now. It's recorded.
You're not going to get sued. You already put your little disclaimer up. I did. We saw it. We heard it.
They are solely the thoughts of ChasReal.
I didn't even get to the story yet. That's the whole point about it. What I'm saying is that I haven't even gotten into the story. I brought up monkeypox and we done gone down a rabbit hole.
We did. But that's the way it goes. Look, Mom,
right.
I
brought up monkeypox and we automatically went to vaccines. That is the problem.
And it is the problem. We got monkeypox.
That was sitting on y'all back. Y'all wanted to say something about the vaccine so wholeheartedly.
No, not wholeheartedly, because I really wasn't even talking about any vaccines, but I just was, making a correlation between the two and what my thoughts are. Like, okay, it's something else. Is monkeypox now? Like, where this come from? I never heard of it.
It's not new. What the interesting part is that y'all preface that like monkeypox is new. It's not new, and it wasn't eradicated. It was under control.
Right. I know that.
So what made it get under control? Out of
vaccines.
Control.
But they thought it was actually so low that vaccines wouldn't have to be mass produced again.
Okay.
And now what we're seeing is that if somebody goes to another country, they get it and they come back home and spread it. Same thing happened with Ebola. I mean, that was the same thing that happened with Ebola a couple years ago. This isn't new. We actually try to make things seem like it's new. This isn't new.
I didn't think
malaria is still around.
I knew these things were already
just like whooping cough. And whooping cough has been around. We've seen commercials on it forever. It's not like this is new. Just because a couple more people are getting it doesn't make it new.
It's not.
My whole point is that it's something they made.
Right? No, but it's not a couple though. Like once they start sending these children back to school, they were high numbers of it.
Because now we have more vaccine deniers than we've ever had before.
But that has nothing to do with them getting a vaccine.
Well, if all of y'all got the vaccine and I ain't get it, y'all good. Y'all good. So why y'all?
Well, when I get whooping cough,
why worry about me not wanting to get the vaccine? If everyone's got it and everyone's protected, then y'all good.
Right.
Wrong, because you still won't get it. The same way it's still getting COVID. It's the same way that all these people have gotten vaccinated for COVID and they still getting it.
Well, because the vaccinations are not cures. They're not cures.
But that's not first what they allegedly said.
Who? Who is they?
Everybody. The medical field.
Now we get ready to get into a real argument.
Hold on.
Now you're saying everybody. Who is everybody?
Hold on. Because I will bring to the table the next time that we talk a video of them when they first announced this vaccine. And what did they say? That if you got the vaccine, you would not get the virus. That was the narrative that they were putting out there first.
That. I want you to get that. I do want you to get that video because what they actually told you was when you get the vaccine, you won't die from the virus.
No,
that is what they told you.
They started that later. They started saying that later.
No, because this has never been. But see, that's what I'm trying to understand. How do y'all get vaccines being a cure? Because that has never been stated.
I don't, but it's
vaccines are not cure.
That's why many people don't get them because they don't see them as a cure. But they sell them as if you're going to be safe from whatever you're getting vaccinated for. It's not. Nobody is saying cure. And most of the people
who
don't want to
get saying. You keep saying nobody said that. Chastity just said it.
But that's what they were reporting though, in the beginning.
Who? All right, I see. That's what I'm saying. I need names.
Who said that? About the monkeypox.
Who said it?
The Fauci's of them all.
Fauci never said that. Fauci told you that it's a vaccine.
I know multiple people that got it for that very reason because they were saying that if you got it, you would not get the virus and it will protect the people around you that was vulnerable. That is the information they were putting out at first.
I don't know. I would like y'all to provide those.
But see the messaging changed.
I'll work on that.
I sit here and do this every day, and I've never heard that before.
But the messaging
if you understand what a vaccine is, you know it's not a cure, and it will not protect you from not getting the virus. That has been the status quo for this whole entire pandemic.
The messaging changed when people did not get the vaccine.
But that was never the messaging. That was never the messaging. And if you were listening to a doctor that told you that a vaccine will prevent you from getting something,
it was the same one that you
was
watching on the news. It was the same group of professionals that you were watching on the news. The problem is,
why didn't I get that? If it's the same people I was watching, how are we talking about two separate things? I need to know who you heard that from.
It's the same people that you were watching.
It wasn't the same people. I did not hear them.
It
wasn't. You can't keep saying it was the same people I was watching.
But they said those things with the assumption that people were going to get vaccinated, and when large amounts of people still didn't get vaccinated, then the messaging changed. That is not a cure. That is just
and that wasn't red flags. And that wasn't red flags.
That is going to keep you safe and keep you if you do get it. Then they started saying, well, if you do get it again, their messaging changed once the bulk of the people did not want to get the vaccine.
That wasn't the messaging I heard. I don't know what y'all watch to get these kind of messages.
Fox News then, sir.
I don't watch Fox.
I'm watching Fox News. Because they
I don't watch
the only
Fox.
ones that were saying foolish stuff like that, but
I don't watch Fox. So I mean that you made a wrong choice in your TV.
The assumption that most of the people thought it was going to be a cure is absent. That's void because that's why most people did not get it because most people don't see vaccines as a cure. That's why they don't get
because
them.
It's not a cure.
That's why people don't get them because they don't believe that it's going to cure them. They feel like it's going to make them sick. Because most of the vaccines has the flu in it, or it's trying to keep your body, it's trying to build your immune system up so you could fight the flu or you could fight whatever it is. And most people know that, but most people don't want to damage themselves getting a vaccine and end up getting sicker. And I'm one of them. I always got sick after I got the flu shot. Horrible. I got the fucking flu every time I got the flu shot. And I'm one of the people that I would rather chance getting the flu than getting sick from getting the vaccine from trying to prevent getting the flu. I'm that person. But I just think the messaging changed. And it's okay if the messaging changed because I feel like they only said it that way to encourage more people to get that herd immunity. I think that's the only reason why they did it. But then once they realized, oh, that shit not gonna work, it's not scaring people. Let's tell them that if they don't get it, it's going to keep them from staying alive. Or it's going to keep them alive if they get it. It changed. And it was a quick change.
And that's why
I just want y'all to give me, when y'all see that messaging again, or if you find it, can you send it my way? Because I would like to see
every
it.
News. It was on every news channel.
It wasn't on the news I was watching.
Well,
I don't understand that.
Well, sorry you missed it, Monny, but I've seen it.
You could have saved your life if you'd have watched it.
No, because I'm fully vaccinated, so I don't understand. I got the correct messaging, and I understand the definition of the word vaccine, and I know exactly how the procedure was working.
Me too. Likewise.
I don't
But
get
I'm
it.
just
Like,
saying it's
if
just
they were
real
selling
crazy to
you
me that
apples,
was not
if
the
they were selling
narrative.
you something that was
That was
supposed to
not
be
the
a
message
cure
at
and
first.
They
calling a
wasn't selling me
vaccine,
anything.
I
They
wouldn't understand why
They
anybody would
wasn't
take
selling
it.
it as a
No.
cure. But what I'm
But
saying is
that's
that
what you
their
said, Chaz. I
message.
mean, I don't understand
No,
why we
I
keep
did
going
not.
back and forth over
You
it.
keep putting words in
You
my
said what
mouth.
you
I
saw
never said
was saying that it
cure.
would keep you from getting
I
it.
never said cure. Right. Would keep
No,
you from
I'm
getting
using the
it.
word cure because that's what that would be.
Right, you
It's
Would
going to
keep
keep
you
you
from
from
getting
getting
it.
something. That would be a
Would
cure.
prevent you from getting it.
That would be
was
a
their
cure.
message.
That
That
would be
was
a
their
cure.
message. I never said
No,
cure.
no,
But
but no,
something that's keeping you
that's
from
not what
getting
a
a
cure
deadly
is.
disease is a
But
cure.
that's not what a cure is.
That's
A cure,
not what
if
I'm
you
saying.
get it, a cure
I'm
would be
just
if
being
you
all
got it and
misunderstood
you
and
took that
misconstrued
vaccine and
tonight,
it
but
took it
it's all
away from
right.
you. A cure is not if it blocks you from getting it. A cure is if you got it and you took that vaccine and it took it away from you. That's what a cure is. That's the
What
way
I'm
you're
saying
defining
is
is not
that
a cure.
originally their message was if you got the vaccine, you would not get the virus.
Yep.
And then it switched to say, well, if you get the vaccine and you get the virus, then your
It's gonna
chances
keep you
to
from
survive
dying.
are
Yeah.
higher than the persons
Yeah.
that are not vaccinated. That message changed drastically.
Yeah.
It did.
That's the
Originally,
only
they were
message
begging
that I
for
heard.
everyone to get
So.
this vaccine. I'm not saying that it was a cure. They were saying it was a cure. But yes, Dr. Fauci, when they first, all of them came on, they said that if you get this vaccine,
So that's
you
what
will
you're
not
saying.
get the
You're
virus.
saying Dr. Fauci said it.
He was one of them.
He was one of them.
Okay.
And is it my opinion?
Don't go with that opinion shit. If you saw it, you saw facts.
But
if you
that
saw
was
it,
in my
But you
opinion.
just said it
no,
wasn't
I don't
effective.
want your opinion in this one. I want you to tell me you saw Dr. Fauci say this shit. Don't go back to your opinion.
It was Dr. Fauci. It was
It's not your opinion.
And
It's
I
wrong.
did.
But it
If
was
you
several
saw it,
medical.
it's not your opinion.
And I
There was
did
several
because you know
medical
who was
experts
you know
on
who
the
was
news.
against the message.
Right.
You know who was against the message when he was saying it. Trump the Grump. He was against it, and Trump did not even back down to get the
So
vaccine
Trump is the one that
after he
said
got
no,
it.
it's not a cure.
No, Trump is the one
no.
who was against getting the vaccine.
Trump didn't have any. He didn't have any.
Oh,
opinion.
so Trump, the one that was touting the vaccine, was against
Trump
it.
didn't have any opinion until he bought into.
Wait a minute. I want to talk
approved.
to Chastity for this one real quick.
Because
I want to know what she
help her
knows.
out. I can help her out. Tag me in, please.
She don't need no help. She don't need no help. This is in her opinion.
Oh, he ain't helping me. Oh, he ain't helping me. Oh, he ain't helping me. He's giving his opinion. He's giving his opinion.
All right, well, Nate, hold your opinion. I want to hear from Chastity. So Dr. Fauci was giving this statement.
Yes.
And Donald Trump said what?
I didn't say you said anything.
Donald Trump was not pushing.
You just said he said something.
No, but Donald Trump was let me help you. Let me help you. Donald Trump was not
Donald Trump said he was against
Go ahead and help me. Go ahead and help me. Because I was reminding Money that something over in the Grand came
But
Donald
Trump was not. I was watching the news. Donald Trump was not pushing anything.
The vaccination.
So his company started investing in that vaccine that never got approved. That's when he was trying to tell you to drink. First, he was trying to tell you drink some bleach, and that will help you out, jokingly, quote unquote, jokingly. And then he started backing that vaccine that never got approved. That's what he was saying.
And then they ran that grand scheme that he got the virus. He wasn't never sick. My opinion.
I think he did get it because he has a top notch. He has a top notch.
And that was to push it even further because people were not getting vaccinated. And then it was like, oh, the president got the virus.
Yeah.
So it was all propaganda. My opinion. It does not reflect the opinions or facts that are coming out in this big.
It went out. It said it in the beginning of the show. I was just feeding the monster.
I'm just a reminder. But what's going on about these monkeypox though?
No, I'm not going back. I don't feel like it no more. After that, hell no. No, thank you.
I watched the news.
But what you say they was being funny?
But I watched
you know what?
That's why
for my listening audience, here's what I'll tell you about the monkeypox.
That's why I didn't get the vaccine until I did.
No, Nate, we done with that. We done.
I'm just telling you. I'm a very enlightened and very intelligent young man. I'm
done with that. I'm done.
I did my research. Thank you.
Tell me what you want.
A child
Me
visiting
too.
DC.
And some stuff I be knowing because I just be knowing. All praise to God.
Whatever.
Monny out there watching.
There was a child visiting DC that has been diagnosed with monkeypox. That's what I was getting at.
I thought it was two of them.
Oh, poor baby.
I thought it was two of them.
Yeah, it's making that's one of two pediatric cases. Yes.
So are there any symptoms?
But that was not in DC. I was only talking about specifically for DC. Because that's close.
Any symptoms linked to it?
Because it's close to us.
Is there any symptoms linked to it, Monny? Like what your body goes through? What is it?
Infection can last in your system for 2 to 4 weeks, or until the rash is healed over. Because it's just like chickenpox. If you got open or popped bumps, that's how the infection can spread through the air.
Okay.
So yeah, the infection, like I said, the infection can last up to 2 to 4 weeks, and you really are not out of the contagious era until those bumps have healed over.
Yeah.
Like a layer of skin has gone over them.
So is it affected anything else? Is it more so just like giving them a rash? Is it
it does. It can affect your respiratory system.
Oh no!
It's very similar to chickenpox and the measles.
Just like chickenpox, you can get them internally too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
You can get monkeypox is even worse internally. Like it could clog your throat and things like that.
Oh, poor babies.
Let's say poor all of us, because anybody can get it.
Yeah, all of us. But I just was speaking on, him reporting that it was these two.
And it's not necessarily deadly if you treat it like chickenpox. Like chickenpox, I had it really bad. I was out of school for a whole month.
Yes.
But it varies from person to person.
And nobody could play with me, honey. It was like I was on quarantine. I remember being around the projects. Sitting in the yard.
My mother wouldn't let me sit. I could only sit in the doorway. Yeah, I could only sit in the doorway.
All my little buddies was trying to come. Their mothers was like, come back up here.
That's so funny because when I had chickenpox, I ain't want to be bothered by nobody. Just leave me alone to itch by myself.
It was very itchy.
I didn't even have all that trouble. If the parents were smart, they would have let them come around, because you don't want to get chickenpox as an adult.
You're older. Yeah. But I think that's what you was mentioning too, that, a lot of people that didn't get chickenpox when they were younger wound up getting the shingles and stuff like that when they get older.
Well, you can get chickenpox as an adult, or as you get older, you develop shingles.
But it's just worse.
That's right.
It affects your body worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it becomes more internal than when you were a child.
And it still don't stop you from getting shingles. You can still get shingles even after you've had chickenpox.
That's why I said you can get adult chickenpox, and then as you get older, you can develop shingles. That's why a lot of seniors were starting to develop shingles.
No.
I'm itching. Y'all got me itching. Even though I was outside the other day, and the mosquitoes, they love the fat on your back.
But that's your law. My dermatologist told me, stop using shea butter. Like, only use it at night. Don't put it on when you're getting ready in the morning, because that's where those mosquitoes be getting you the most.
Well, I am sugar. So no matter what I want. Oh, Monty, don't do that. You love me. But no, I'm just saying they go through your shirt and everything else. But I'm itching though while we talking about it and just thinking about bumps and itchy and all that stuff like that.
When people start talking about bugs, I tune them out and clean my nails.
Yeah.
I didn't really when I had chickenpox, I really didn't feel all the itching. I had more irritation in my face, so that's where you see the faint marks, and they've started disappearing as I've gotten older. But I didn't get them. I didn't have any other scars because I didn't really itch like that.
Oh, I was itching. I also remember too, when I was about like 13 or 14, I had broke out in like this really bad rash. I remember my mother taking me to the doctors. It was very itchy as well. And it was something that children just get. I don't even know
Poison
what the
oak.
name was. It
Poison
wasn't no
oak.
type of what's your name. And they just was like, no, it wasn't poison oak. It was something like viral. Like I could pass it. It was highly contagious. I had to
Poison
stay
oak.
out of school and like that and stuff like that. I don't know. It
It
wasn't
still
poison
sounds like
oak.
poison oak.
They were saying something else. But
The only thing
however,
that's
it
not
wasn't
contagious
nothing
is
to treat it. It
poison
wasn't nothing to
ivy.
treat it. It wasn't nothing to treat it. It wasn't no medicine
Was it ringworms?
or anything like that. No, it wasn't
Ringworms
ringworms.
is treatable.
I mean, that's something common that children get. I never got
No,
it.
it
She
wasn't
said it was something that
ringworms.
wasn't treatable.
It just was something.
You may have
I
had
forgot
rubella.
what it is. I'm actually going to look it up because
Yeah, that's
one
a
of my
rubellum. That's a
older
rubellum.
son, when he was younger, he had it too. And it's something that some children they don't know or whatever. I was like, why or whatever,
Look
but
at you
no,
making a
it's
mess.
nothing
What is
for it.
wrong with you? I'm sorry.
It's a lot, and I'm starting to see that within the years that I've worked in the school system, I've noticed a lot of those things happen, and parents don't know, so they send their children to school. They send their children to school with pink eye stuff. So,
oh yeah, you know it.
Oh, I'm having a needy moment, you guys, right now. Not a needy moment, but if y'all didn't know, one of my cats passed away last week,
Condolences.
and my other cats are
It's
like,
missing them.
yeah, they're in a place where they don't want to be
How many
alone.
cats you got?
I had 3, the mother and 2 of her children.
Oh, no wonder you and Higgy fussing cat.
Yeah,
Right.
and and the mother is not the
And
one that
I'm a
passed away.
lion, so
Her
he's
daughter,
feeling some type
the
of way.
daughter is the one that passed away, and her
Oh,
twin brother, who is sitting right here in my face, doesn't want to be alone because that's her twin, and now she's gone.
oh.
So,
Yeah, people don't think pets they feel like we feel.
mhm.
Like really. Like,
And I
someone
got to keep my
there
eye
to
on him
everything
because
and
he,
they just gone.
I got to keep my eye on him because I don't want him to stop eating because she's not here. And
Get
that's what's been
depressed.
happening. Like I've been having to stand there and watch him eat and make him eat because he's been like laying around
He
because he's
wanted
lonely.
sister.
Right.
He's grieving.
Yep.
Essentially, he's grieving, yeah. Well, my condolences, Monny, because I know anybody with
Yeah, I'm done
pets.
crying because I thought I was getting ready to cry, but I'm done.
I know
crying,
they was like
so.
your babies, your children.
Yes, they're my babies.
Yeah.
So
like
I gotta,
right now, my pet is a bearded dragon. And I would cry if something happened to my baby.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
His
it was
name is
hard.
Drake.
It was hard, but
And
it was,
I've had dogs
what's interesting is that I didn't have
and turtles.
a struggle with making the decision to put her down. And I thought I would, but I didn't. It was like, because I was just like, I don't want her to suffer. If this is gonna make her suffer, then we're gonna stop this now.
Yeah, them prices alone to make me be like, sorry, muffins.
But you say that about the price, but then when you in that moment, and they're telling you what it could take to, to get them back to 100%, you'd be like, all right, do it.
Yeah, I had animals when I was younger. I'm not as an adult.
I asked the vet to be completely 100% honest with me. Do she think she's going to be back to 100%? Because I know myself, I don't want to be a burden on anyone. So I was like, and she was like, no, I don't believe she's going to be 100% back to herself. She said she probably will feel 100% in the first couple of days, but then she's going to slowly deteriorate. I was like, then that's suffering.
Deteriorate.
So did she have like an illness or a sickness? Like what happened?
She was going through kidney failure.
Oh.
So where they could have did this and it would have been $5,000 or whatever the case may be to get her back to a point where she could go home, she still was going to be diabetic. She still was going to be at risk of having another kidney failure. And then, it would have been just a vicious cycle over and over again. So why put somebody through that torture? And I wasn't willing to do that.
I get it. Well, I'm glad that you're at peace with your decision that you had to make. Again, I know it's a sensitive subject because, I'm a pet lover. I'm not too fond of cats because I am a lion by my zodiac sign, Leo. But you know, I tolerate them or whatever else like that. Some of them, my grandmother had cats or whatever. I had a few dogs, turtles, and different things like that. I'm into reptiles and doggies. But when I was younger, I was raised in that area where the pets, right? They was just like family. It wasn't all that vet stuff and all that other stuff. It wasn't all this special food, knowing they had diabetes and this ain't to be said, knowing they had all of that and all that. It was like, ain't no pets live forever. Without going to these vets, for real. Like my brother Jeff has like a little crew, so I went the other day to get some dog food. Well, like last month to get some dog when I went out Petco to get my lizard, my bearded dragon, some crickets. So he was like, yeah, this dog food. And it was so Pacific. And I was like, boy, if you don't put no rice or, you know what I mean? Those scraps in that bowl. He like, oh no, it got to be aged this and aged that. And I was so, oh, okay. So, you know, it's cute. It's a new herb for the pet owners and stuff like that. But that's why I don't want
It ain't
none.
new. It's just that
They
you
too
was black
expensive.
and you ain't do it.
Oh, baby, it's
It was-
new.
It's not new.
I'm
It's just that you was black.
I think I paid
And you
every
didn't do it.
point that is new amongst us black folks because
Right,
I grew up
right.
in the era where it wasn't giving all of that. So sorry, that's why I say I don't even want no dog.
I've
It's too
had
expensive
every
because I don't want to go
animal.
through all that.
I've had every animal that you could possibly get
Cheapskate.
as a
Yeah,
child,
well, that's what, baby.
and I just can't do it.
Well, guess what? I can't do it because I don't want to. I'm emotional, and you know, and I attach to my animals and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, now, like I would feel bad knowing that there's a vet. Like,
Right. So you said you would attach to your animals, and you don't want your animals to have the best. You just want them to be mediocre.
right? I would want them to have the best. That's why I said I don't want none. Like I would
No,
want them to have the
But
best.
see, for
It's just a
me,
new herb thing. But
once
like
the
I come from
novelty-
when that dog was sick. He was
once
sick.
the novelty
He had
ran
his
off of
child.
me, it just was the novelty of having an animal. Once that wore off was like 2 weeks, I was over it.
Okay,
Like,
and I
kept-
think too the
kept getting
rights too now.
tadpoles.
Because
I
with
had
certain
all
animals,
these
they lock
tadpoles.
you up.
And by the
That-
time they grew into frogs, I was over it. The turtles, all that. Once I could smell them, I was over it.
Yeah, you do. You got to clean them tanks.
Shit up.
That's in that regard. And I guess what I'm saying is that, yeah, you know, I ain't trying to be no cheapskate. Well, I would want my animal to have the best. But what I'm saying is that it's a whole bunch of animal rights too and all that. And guess what? I might not know. My dog or whoever might be limping or whatever. One of my neighbors see him. Next thing you know, got animal control, AP and AC at my door and all that stuff. I ain't trying to go through all that. I know somebody that just now went through that. Like with their dog. Like their dog was dying and they wanted their dog to be home. Like people was calling and all this and all that. They got charged. They want to come and take the dog. And they was in shambles because they wanted their dog to die at home with them. But yeah, these animal rights is like, because this is actually neglect and he's doing this and he's need this and he needs this. And I was so also they gonna force you to pay for some medicine and to do this and to do that and do that, but they already knew he was dying. Like, so I don't know. But rest in peace. What was your cat name on?
Nemers.
Oh, Nemers. Rest in peace, Nemers.
Yeah, she died at 13 years old.
13. Oh, so you had a full one. Oh, no, I'm so old. Much love and many prayers because that was your daughter.
Boots said thank you.
You're welcome, Boots.
Big ass cats. I can't. I don't want to know that something crawling around in my house while I'm sleeping at night. I can't do it. Can't do it.
Come on.
I told you I borrowed them to catch these little field mice.
I'll put chemicals down first.
Okay, and see, I can't because I ain't getting it up. I don't even want to get them up if they're on the trap.
That's what you pay the pest control company to do.
See, and you bougie. I'm from her. And you bougie. I'm from her where you stand in your door.
All right, come on, y'all. Let's move on. We gotta get to
the juicy of the juicy.
See, I can lie. I'm gonna keep y'all playing talk about pets.
See,
for
we
the entire
missed you.
show.
We missed you. You know my little slogan for you. I haven't talked to you lately. So let's talk about it.
All right. So this look at me. See, it's like crazy.
Monkey box.
That's a monkey box.
He didn't came from my You better go get your vaccine.
Let's talk about this Erica Jane girl. She's what? I don't even know if she's still on there though, but all the stuff that's happening in her personal life with her husband and all the wrongdoing that he did and how it's affecting her. But anyway, she was served with a $50 million lawsuit when she was returning back home from Hawaii, of all places. So she was following her Lux trip to Hawaii. Erica Jane was served with papers for a $50 million racketeering lawsuit when she arrived back at LAX on Friday night. And exclusive photos of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star 51 was seen leaving the Los Angeles International Airport when a woman approached her and handed her 2 thick stacks of documents. Like you want me to carry this and my suitcases? I'm trying to figure this out. And it says a rep for Jane did not immediately respond to Page Six's request for comment. Jane, who was was approached in the baggage claim area, was dressed casually for her return flight from LA to LA. It says the lawsuit filed by Edelson PC accuses Jane of 9 charges, including racketeering, conspiracy to commit racketeering, unlawful business practices, and deceit, among others, in relation to the ongoing legal battle involving her estranged ex-husband, Tom Girardi.
That's all it is. They trying to get the husband.
And so Tom and Erica routinely misappropriated client settlement money to project an image of wealth and to prop up a lifestyle made for reality TV.
On a TV show, right? Because the husband was this bar, right? I seen something about that.
I do believe so. Like a lot of stuff has happened throughout the course of her being on that damn reality show. It like kept it going, kept it in the news. Because if you realize that show came on once a week and you still talking about it, you just making more headlines for people to talk about.
It wasn't her. Like I think I saw a couple of the episodes, and then I saw they do the end of the season thing, and it was more so. She had conversations with people off camera, and they were bringing it on camera. Like the other
cast members was talking about it, brought her into it. Right. But now they're finding out more stuff. Like I don't know which way to go. Hopefully she gets exonerated. I'm not sure. I mean, she was the wife. Sometimes she would have been privy to some certain things, especially if you created a whole entire business to funnel the money through, which is what this $50 million lawsuit is coming from.
But her defense,
funneled the money through her business.
What I remember her saying on the reunion show, she didn't have a choice. Like all that funding. Like even the money that she was getting, everything was going into his account. It wasn't like he would give her an allowance or give her money, but she was like, because Andy Cohen was like pushing it. And you couldn't pay me to go on one of those reality shows. Not that I have stuff like that, but you couldn't pay me to go on there because they find out stuff and they just pick at it and just they expose it. And you sitting there like, can y'all shut the fuck up? We still in court.
Because like if it didn't happen, they talk about it long enough. But I don't know. That just kind of seems like it's the thing when it comes to like these reality stars to get them for that racketeering because years when this whole franchise of the Housewives started, it happened to a couple on there and regard, it's like similar charges or whatever. So I think they just be on the lookout for that type of stuff. I don't know if it's attached to the popularity of the show and just trying to make a show, because a lot of it has a lot to do with that too. So I know a lot of stuff can be frivolous.
You got these bloggers, you got your other castmates trying to dig up dirt. So you got all these people trying to find something out. That's why I've always said, give me wealth. I don't want the fame. You can keep the fame.
Yeah.
That's where all that stuff's all coming out because people then want to know about you, so they digging up dirt or somebody that you did dirt with or had a relationship with. Yeah, it's
even when it's nothing.
Right. They're gonna make it up.
And I tell you, Nick, that to be true because I have the fame and it's always something.
I don't want the fame. You keep that. Just give me the money.
Yeah.
One of those where you don't even know my name.
The wealth is there.
Right, I'm one of them millionaires. You like, I don't even know this man, y'all.
Okay.
There's a bunch of millionaires that live in this neighborhood.
Baby, guess
Never
what?
know who they were.
If you got that wealth, you're gonna get the fame gonna come with it. Trust me. Somebody's going to know.
That's not necessarily true because there are a lot of talented people that we see on movies. We don't know nothing about their life. It only comes out when they connect themselves with the wrong type of people or when they're trying to put all their business out there, trying to get fame. That's when it comes out there. But you don't have to be famous. You don't have to be well known. Like we learning that a lot of these celebrities, they call the paparazzi when they out at places. Just so they can be in the newspaper or on the blogs now.
Yeah.
But I don't want I keep all that. Just give me the money.
And apparently that's who caught it. That's who caught her being served was the paparazzi.
But that's kind of sneaky because that's sneaky because now they're putting it out there. So we know she probably didn't call them. She might have planned it. The people who was probably serving her probably sent it to TMZ or something.
Oh well, paparazzi and LAX, they're always there. It's always paparazzi there, waiting for somebody to get off the airport, come out the airport.
That's crazy.
Right. So they called it. I don't know, but yeah.
All right, let's move on to Keke Palmer, who they're trying to compare her to her career wise to Zendaya,
and they could never.
And it's not, and I say the same thing just because they had the same career path almost. Being a Disney kid and all that kind of stuff, and then come around to Disney and then continue their career in the entertainment industry. It's not the same. I think they both have their lanes, and I think they're trying to, compare them in the fact that maybe because Zendaya has more fame and more.
She don't. She
well,
don't.
actually, she does. She has surpassed her in net worth.
How she looks.
Zendaya has surpassed her in net worth. I think that's what they're comparing her to, like that, because what the article said to her, which I loved her response, is basically saying, why hasn't your career basically taken, because since they had the same path, like I said, through the Disney and all that kind of stuff, why hasn't your career taken the same path? And I argue that it has. Because
why hasn't her career taken the same path?
Keke is
blown up the same way as Zendaya.
Because Keke, but there's a difference. First of all, Keke Palmer didn't start out as a Disney kid. She was under Disney, but she was making blockbuster movies. She was making big movies out there. So it wasn't there.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I would argue that
because Zendaya was a little kid that auditioned for a little show on Disney. There's a difference.
Actually, Zendaya did not. Zendaya had her own show on Disney.
But it still was Disney. It was still Disney. She still was one of those Disney kids. Miss Keke Palmer was not. Miss Keke Palmer had a whole career outside of the Disney brand. She may have been under the Disney production companies, but she had a whole brand. So there's no comparison. Her resume far outweighs Miss Zendaya. Miss Zendaya,
and I'm not disagreeing with you. What I was saying was, if you would have let me finish,
I'm just saying because of
that I think what they're saying is because of Zendaya's box office success in the category of success in the box office.
Spider-Man.
You have to let me finish.
That's one. Give me another.
In her Euphoria success.
But that's enough, though.
It's not.
No
Keke
shit.
Palmer has
not
had a
saying it like that.
Oh, no. That have done very
well. You have to let me finish. I'm not disagreeing with you. I say that their careers is on the same exact path, and probably Keke does probably excel a little further than hers. But because of Zendaya's box office success, is why they're saying why did Keke
office success that one time.
No, it's not been one time. She has Euphoria, which is in this going into his 5th season now.
One.
Which one? What are you saying one about? Zendaya is almost
like
over
you
$200 million.
I think both of them need to be respected in their own right.
Agreed. Which is why I said, which is what I was saying, because of Zendaya's box office success, her net worth is catapulted over Keke Palmer's.
So that's why they're trying to compare them.
First of all, those numbers mean nothing to me because you can make those numbers up. And many times those numbers, celebrities will tell you, I don't have that much money.
But this is not coming from nobody. This is not coming from just nobody. It's coming from
She did
Forbes.
not get no $200 million from no one show. No one movie.
And I didn't say that. I did
I'm
not
just
say
telling
that.
you. I'm just telling you.
And it's
Because nothing else
she's not
she
just
did
an
was that
actor in that show. She's also an executive producer in that show, which gives her more marketable money.
No, it don't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because we got to get into those percentages.
It gives her the ownership of the show, which means she gets
no,
more of the money.
Being an executive producer on a movie don't make you
I didn't say
richer
movie. I said on a show. Else. I'm talking about Euphoria.
Oh, I'm
it don't
itching
make
again,
you, but
y'all.
it still don't make you rich. Because where does her executive producer, is she by namesake only? Does she get back in percentage? Because they gotta pay all the other people before she gets paid.
You reading too far into this
because you're not gonna tell me she's wealthy because she's executive producer of a show.
I didn't say that, but see, that's what you read into it because you're not listening. Once again, I have to mute you because you don't want to fucking listen.
And I can do sign language. I learned that over the
well, get to doing it because I don't understand any of it, so it won't mean a damn thing to me.
Order. You are consent. You're in consent. You have to listen to the whole statement. Objection. Let's go. But what I was going to say is I just dislike how they always doing that. I just like how they always doing that, no matter what earns and
right. And I think that was the entire the point
movies,
of it. It was like
they always got to compare somebody.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Come on. I live for Miss Kiki Palmer, and I live for Zendaya.
But unfortunately, there's no comparison in this situation.
I've had a blessed career thus far. This is what Kiki Palmer said. I've had a blessed career thus far, and I couldn't ask for more. But God continues to surprise me.
That's right. Work. And that's
what
girl.
There's no comparison. I just think they were trying to compare
one of my favorite shows, Legendary, and I live for her. Yeah. I live for her.
Comparison. Zendaya wears pretty gowns. She wears pretty gowns.
I don't understand why you still trying to discredit Zendaya
because I'm not discrediting
she didn't say it.
But
she's not the one that said it though. But everything you say is negative.
But there's a reason.
Against the person that didn't even say anything.
It's not. I'm not bashing her. I'm just telling the reality of it all. And
what is the reality? The reality is one of them is worth more than the other.
But had Zendaya been a dark-skinned girl, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. It wouldn't even have been brought up.
Now, I never said anything about her skin color.
I am saying it.
I don't think they was comparing. They was comparing like people of the age, the same age group.
And I just said
coming from the same background.
But you read the interesting part is that you read into that to being light skinned. We three black people. Why did we have to read into the light skin thing?
Why did
us? But I'm saying, why did us three? Why did you have to bring that up between us three?
Because that is prevalent in these cases.
But it's not prevalent in our cases. We are the ones that are talking about it.
But as somebody that's in the actor field, it's always an issue. It is never
right, but you're bringing it up to issue. This was not about that. This wasn't about the light skin or dark skin thing. When I brought it up, was not intentionally about dark skin or light skin. My thing is that I was bringing it up about career longevity. You took it to light skin, dark skin, and we shouldn't be talking about that because we're three black people.
Well, that's it's still a problem.
But I'm bringing this up. Is what I'm saying. I'm bringing this up. Why do you go to dark skin, light skin when I'm the one bringing this to your attention?
I'm not saying that's why you brought it up, but I'm saying the fact that this is out on the internet like this.
And what's interesting is that this didn't come from anybody. This came from News One, which is another black agency. So what is that about?
It don't have nothing to do with. We know colorism is our problem. Colorism is not
right, but what I'm saying is I'm bringing this to you, and I'm asking you the question on what you thought about the fame portion of it, and you went immediately to the light skin, dark skin.
But that's a big part of that fame.
But not from me. It wasn't for me.
But it wasn't for you. No. It was my opinion.
He's just looking into it, and he's saying that. That's what he's trying to say. Nate, let me help you. Let me help you.
If we didn't bring it up, it wouldn't have been an issue from our standpoint.
But the reason that this was even an article, the reason that they're talking about it.
Nate believes that.
So you read into undertones. So you're saying the undertone of this article, which had nothing or said anything about the light skin, dark skin thing.
Yes.
The undertone was because of light skin, dark skin.
Yes.
And not because they're in the same age group.
No, because Keke Palmer is older than her.
By how many years?
A number of years. Keke Palmer is
so a number of years, meaning how many? Because that's my question.
I believe Keke Palmer is in her 30s and Zendaya is in, I don't even think she's in her mid-20s yet. She may be just in her mid-20s.
Okay, so there's another point where there is no comparison that could have been used other than the light skin, dark skin thing.
Yeah, but I'm not going to deny that it's not an issue. I'm not going to deny that it's not an issue.
He believes that it plays a part. Right. He believes that it plays a part in them even bringing up this thing about a comparison.
And I'm not saying,
just like I said, I dislike that they do that. Like overall,
but they didn't do that. They asked the question basically on why her trajectory couldn't have been the same mirroring Zendaya's. That was the question, and that's why I said I can argue. Can I finish? And that's why I said I can argue that she had the same trajectory because again, like you said,
the same type of career.
Had more movies, more box office movies when she was younger than Zendaya does now.
But I'm telling you why it's a problem. I'm telling you from my perspective why this is a problem and why somebody like a Keke Palmer will even be put in a category with a Zendaya. And that's not to disrespect her, but her resume looks much better than, I'm not gonna say it looks better, it is more quality aspects to her career than Zendaya has at this point of her career. Not to say that she won't get to that space, but her complexion will definitely play a point in it. It will definitely play a role. They would not offer Keke Palmer the type of roles that they would offer a Zendaya. Now, and nowadays, we have plenty more platforms where Keke Palmer can produce something on her own, and she don't have to wait for them to offer her something. But if Zendaya and Keke Palmer were doing this simultaneously, you would definitely see more of the blockbuster movies going to Zendaya because she's more marketable to the broader face of what America looks like. That is a problem. And I'm not going to act like that's not an issue for actors. I'm not going to act like dark-skinned women have always been picked or been getting these blockbuster movies. Where you can see that the fact that there's only one Viola Davis. And they keep comparing her to the only other white woman that she can ever be mirrored to. Why not compare her to Angela Bassett or any other the other millions of black actresses, but they only compare her to the other comparable white woman. It happens. And Zendaya is not seen as a black woman, even though she's mixed, she's not seen as a black woman. So it's going to be this comparison because of color. And because it's coming from within, colorism is something that is happening within our culture. It has nothing to do with white people or anything. That's something that's happening within. And we do that. Look at Tyler Perry. If I see one more 6'2", chiseled, light brown skinned brother in a movie, it's gonna kill me. Like I'm a scream. But that's what they go towards. Not to say he don't hire chocolate brothers, but come on now, especially for women. They plan that chocolate versus light skin thing right now. Well, I'm gonna get the chocolate girl. I'm gonna put up against the light skin girl. This wouldn't even be a story if they were both the same complexion. I'm just saying. That's just my opinion.
Well, good opinion, and I do like Mrs. Keke Palmer's response because it definitely wasn't shaded.
Right. But that's what I was trying to get to. And without us digging so deep into colorism and all that kind of stuff, Keke Palmer's response wasn't to denigrate the other person. It was to say that I had my career and she has hers. We are not the same.
And she doing her thing. You know, I live for them both, but, you know, even when you mentioned her name and we was talking about Tigers, originally when you said Keke Palmer, I knew who she was.
Right.
But then when you was like Zendaya, I was like, who is that? But then when I put it, I'm like, oh, Zendaya. Oh, okay. So that's what it's giving for me. And then Miss Keke Palmer was just a judge on one of my favorite ball shows, Legendary.
Well, they kept her as a judge on that show because she's so great.
And she's
and
doing
I'm not in this,
very
but I'm
good.
not even trying to denigrate or put
And like I said, they are in the
down
same age group. She only 3 years older. Keke Palmer's 28 and Zendaya's 25.
And that was another thing, though. They were saying Miss Keke Palmer, sometimes she be looking like she 20, sometimes she be looking like she 50,
Yeah.
child.
She still
Which is
could play
crazy.
somebody.
And that comes, she
She
got
could
a
probably
disease.
still play a teenager.
She has a disease on her face, where she has super acne,
okay.
which makes
And
it,
I
it
don't know
does
if
to make her look older sometimes.
but I live for her. I live for her.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Miss Kiki. I know you had a disease or whatever.
I mean, I don't know if it's a disease, but it's an
she
affliction
has
in her
acne
skin.
really bad. She has
very, very, very bad acne.
I know. I mean, that's what they said, but then when they said it, I was so
Like I was like, I don't know if it's a disease, but it's like very, very, very bad acne.
I mean, because she's dark skinned, brown skin. When she gets her acne, it's going to turn into hyperpigmentation, so it looks worse than what it would on somebody who's just lighter skin, where it just look like red spots. It's going to get darker.
And I'm sure with doing shows and makeup and everything else like that, it's just very, irritating to the skin and all that too. Dyeing the hair, the wigs, and everything else like that. But I'm glad she responded the way she responded, because it's very true. I just like that they do that. They try to compare people anyway when they're in certain areas, because people are who they are in their own right. Like
they may not even know each other, so they go keep it cute because they don't want to get into comparing each other or
don't do that. Don't do that.
The reality of it is, I mean, look at how many darker skinned girls get roles over lighter skinned girls. Look at it. They feel like the lighter skinned person is more appealing to America at whole, and then the black girls are designated to the black films or the black movies. Mm-hmm. But Keke Palmer
I get that. In the roles that they pick us to play too, is a distinction between that too. Yeah. So I get where you're saying, in that regard or whatever else like that. It does do a lot with that and being more marketable and what's more appealing to American to people, whatever. Because generally black women, period, the roles that we get over other ethnics, you know what I'm saying, are different. Yeah. They want us to play the whores and the and the strippers and in the pool, which is and this
or the loudmouth ghetto girls.
Is the way they depict us in videos or whatever. But both of them young ladies are doing exceptional, and their careers are exceptional as well. So I just wish both of them more prosperity and much more success. I love Keke Palmer, and I love Zendaya.
Zendaya wears pretty gowns.
Zendaya, yeah, she always looking pretty. But Miss Keke be bragging too now, baby.
She do. I was equating their talent. Zendaya wears pretty gowns.
Yes, and Miss Keke be wearing them too, honey, and that body is snatched.
In my Aretha Franklin song, she wears pretty gowns.
Oh, but Nick, that's not even what we were talking about.
Right.
I'm just saying.
That's not even what we were talking about.
If you were to ask me my opinion,
I'm not doing discredit her performance in Euphoria. I only watched 2 or 3 episodes, but her performance in that show is
okay.
For somebody that's never done drugs, she's doing a good
maybe she
rendition.
has. Who knows?
My goodness.
I take her opinion, her advice that she says she's never done drugs, hardcore drugs like he does in the show.
People
in the show Euphoria.
People lie sometimes.
Said that.
What?
She said she never did drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, she ain't never drank.
I'm talking about for somebody that's never done drugs. So and being so young, for her portrayal in Euphoria, it's an amazing feat. Like she does a good job.
Okay.
She wears pretty gowns. That's what I'll say.
Do you not like her or something? I mean,
it's not about not liking her.
You're giving a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate coming off.
It's not a lot of hate.
They try to compare her
hate.
to Keke, and it's a Keke.
Right. Because this argument has come up before when Keke has been compared to a lot of the white pop actors. And it's always a thing where she has been consistently working. She's done Good Morning America. She's done a lot. And people discredit her for the time. If they're 3 years apart,
well-rounded. She's well-rounded, and that's not like this in there. at all or whatever, but it's just certain things that they're not going to market her to do. You know what I mean?
They did the same look they did with Raven Simone. They did the same thing to her.
Yeah. Yeah. We be deep in the streets.
I mean, I'm an artist, so I've gone through. I've gone through this, and I've seen other one of my actor friends. They've gone through this. You know, I've seen. I used to have a partner. I'm not gonna say his name, but we're not friends no more. But I'm still not gonna say his name. And we used to go to auditions together. And I know I was more talented, but he would get roles or he would get a call back when I wouldn't get it, and he wouldn't go any further. He kept getting to the point of getting a call back because of what he looked like. But then when they would actually read him in terms of getting him a deeper audition, he would never get it because he wasn't that well-rounded of an actor.
And it's not only color, it's also body size and everything else like that or whatever, because, you know, I know me being a heavy-set woman and stuff like that, I know, you know, and that goes beyond, I mean, like in the reality of things and not even movie roles. I mean, that goes in jobs and everything. So, yeah, Nate, I definitely get your point. Even with me having these red locks and everything, I definitely get your point. It is an issue, and it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's a look. And if you don't look what they want you to look like,
and then what is weird is it
that wrong? I mean, okay. Now that we're digging into this, is that wrong?
It is wrong because those people don't reflect all of America, and the excuses that
but the video, the movie, or whatever they're trying to shoot is not about all of America. It's about the specific role that they're trying to audition for.
Yeah, so I thought out of college I needed an agent.
Business.
And what your agent will tell you is what your agent is business, but at the same time, they give you this as an excuse back. Well, we're trying to find somebody who fits more of an American image. And they'll say this to you while hiring someone who's white or light-skinned or other. And they'll give you this as your reason. Like they won't say it to you, but they'll say it to your agent. And I've had that happen to me a couple times. I've had it happen to many of my friends, so I know it's real. I know it's not just a myth that Black actors say. It's something that actually happens out there. And
I mean, no, I'm not even saying that it's a myth or that it's not true.
Yeah.
My specific question was it wrong?
And I respect your opinion.
It's wrong, not necessarily because this is what they were looking for this role. That's what they're looking for is based off of what they feel in real life.
Or what they see.
That's based off of what they feel is real life. So it's not just what they wanted for this role. It's a reason they want that for that role because they feel like that depicts real life. You don't depict real life.
Or it could sell the movie.
But that's the assumption. Because
it's all an assumption. All three of us are very healthy individuals. And I know at least me and Monny, we go and see every movie.
Wait a minute.
No. I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying, Nate. I get your point.
I mean, are we standing up? Stand up.
What happened? I'm good.
Well, I'm not standing up because I'm tired.
I'm just saying, but you and I both go and see every movie that comes out.
Right.
So we are looking at the movie. Are we seeing necessarily things that depict us?
No.
It's the same thing that's happening to Lizzo right now. If the same thing was happening, which is happening with every other Black performer out there, but because Lizzo is heavier, right, it's nasty because
she a fat big girl and she shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it's disgusting to them.
It's giving too much. But as soon as that thin curl white girl come on that award show with her ass
doing the same thing.
Who else? My girl Lady Gaga dressed outrageous, all types of costumes. She never got slighted.
But let's not even go outside of race. Lizzo is following in the same lead as Rihanna.
Yes.
Rihanna stayed walking around with her ass out. But because Rihanna had a more pleasing, what people would seem as pleasing look, it was more acceptable for her to do it. So we don't want to see Lizzo fat ass doing that. That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's the same way across the board. And I don't like that as an issue, but I'm not going to pretend like these situations don't come up because there's some self-hatred in the mix, because there's some sexism or racism or colorism in the mix. I'm not going to pretend because I know the reality. I've faced it, and many of my artist friends have faced the same thing, and it's crazy. And it's ridiculous. You're not going to tell me that America only wants to see a certain type of person.
Yeah, it's a certain.
I'm not even saying that, but I'm speaking on this point.
Right, I get it.
If you don't fit the vision of the creator of said project, is it wrong that you were not picked?
Yes, because that image goes beyond
but
production.
But you said this as an artist. I'm asking you as an artist now. This is that artist's work. And if you don't fit the mold, you don't fit that mold.
But
how can that be wrong?
Me fitting the image of what you want from this role is fine. If that's where it stayed. But you feel this way about me as an employee at McDonald's or as the president of the United States. You feel like this regardless of whether this was a role or your artist or not.
No, I'm not talking about the bigger issue. I was specifically talking about, we were talking about a role.
Was basically saying, is it okay? Because, it's a business sense.
And I'm saying,
and that's what I'm saying.
If you're the casting director, you accept the cast based off of what the film is requiring.
But I'm saying,
if you came in an audition for it, if they thought you fit the role, they would accept you. But if they don't want you, they don't have to take you.
But those requirements are an issue because they go beyond just that movie. And the problem is, if that's the only image that we see, there are tons of children and other people that represent those things that are not considered.
I understand that, but I'm saying specifically for that artist who created that project,
but we can't keep using it as an excuse.
Was not to have you on it. Why is that wrong?
We can't, because racism is wrong.
But that wasn't racism. You were not his vision. You were not a part of his vision.
But if you see these scripts, they often aren't written for a specific race.
Like how you can't force me to say I want to black man when it's not my vision.
You can, as an artist myself, I can create for whoever I want to create, but I don't have feelings about people. If you see my show that's about to come up for Baltimore Fashion Week, there's somebody being represented from everybody.
But
and
that's your vision, and I understand your vision.
But that's okay.
But if that movie
I am not a racist individual
specifically for a character that he created in his mind,
it is a problem because
it doesn't created that character.
It doesn't just stop at them in his mind. No, it's a problem because it's not just stopping at their role. That's called systematic racism. How are you going to
dictate somebody else's art being a problem?
Because it's called systematic racism,
but it's also called art. It
does not matter. It does not matter. It's still wrong.
God, the artist is telling you that your art don't matter now.
But it's still wrong, though. Just because you call it your art don't make it right. It is still wrong.
But it's his.
It's
his property. It is still wrong.
You don't have to.
And respectfully,
I don't care what you say. It is still wrong.
But that's wrong to you. It can be wrong to you. You can have the right to call it wrong, but it is still that man's project that you can't rewrite to fit you.
It's still wrong.
It's not wrong. It's wrong to you.
You can have, and that's where I'm coming from.
Objection.
That's where I'm coming from.
My view on it, I definitely understand where both of you guys are coming from, but my view on it is that, like, I think Monny was trying to make the point on like the business side of it, that everything sometimes is not linked to racism. I remember me being a teenager, I was into poetry, into hip hop, and I remember I was signed Willie Style Productions, New York City, and I got pregnant. You know what I mean? So it's a whole look, it's a whole thing that they're trying to sell. So it wasn't that I wasn't talented, like I was it, but it's like, okay, now, like, yeah, I got the Lauryn Hill story, but it was given like, okay, now we can't put that look out there. We don't want that image because that's not selling right now. So
and we know that's wrong. We know that for your specific.
But that was the business. But that was the business now. And I couldn't shade
how
them.
Many women are coming? How many? Look at Beyonce.
Yeah.
Look at Cardi B. And
Now,
the problem, no, but it's not about now. It would have sold then too. It would have sold then too. Because
they
you would have
made it
still had a
popular,
fan
but back
base.
then it wasn't.
You would have
It
no,
wasn't.
but
It
you would
wasn't a
have had
thing.
a fan base.
You didn't see all this sharing that part. You know that wasn't part of it.
Because we were being
Back then,
told
what
that
was selling, it was not
artists
about
were being
family.
told that nobody
It wasn't
wanted to
selling
see
that.
it. Yeah, but they wasn't even putting it out there to be sold. So they can't tell me that it's not going to be sold.
Right,
They
but you gotta
determine
realize,
more,
But
and that's a problem. That's a personal moral.
but like
That's
she
a personal
said,
moral
she
opinion
came in
that
for
you are
this
making
particular
everybody's
position
opinion.
before she was pregnant, and then she got pregnant, and now she did not fit what they wanted.
Nope.
But it's still wrong.
You can't tell somebody to sell their art based on what you want to see.
But
It's
you're
not
not
what they want to see. It's their
You're
art.
not listening to what I am saying. I said it is a problem because it goes beyond the walls of what they're casting for or what they're looking for. It goes beyond that because in real life, that's what systematic racism is. It's you taking your point about this one issue and making it everybody else's issue. That's what I'm saying.
But you can say that's the same thing that you're doing by doing that. By saying that everything is systematic racism when it's not all that. Every situation that happens is not going to be falling into that systematic racism.
Do that because that's not what I said. I said that is
what I said was you can say vice versa to what you said.
What you said, I said. And I didn't say that everything was systematic racism. I said that is what systematic racism is.
Sometimes all of it can fit in one box. I said, but you can say that vice versa is what I said.
No, it's not about fitting everything in one box. It's about giving people options.
But when you use the words they and there, that insinuates that you're talking about all.
I didn't say whether it was legal or not. I said it was wrong for you to take away my option.
It consists of it.
Right, but you to only give me one image of who I am. That is wrong.
It's not conducive to being.
And my question was, and that's why I asked the question. If the creator of said project, the one that wrote the script, the one that did all of the vision boards for it, had a particular image in mind, you came in and auditioned for it, and you did not fit in that box, is that wrong? Why is that wrong?
It is because it goes beyond that one audition. You are limiting you in your real life, outside of you being an artist. You feel like those people aren't significant. Those people aren't important. Those people should not be seen. And you bring that.
But how do you get that when I'm talking specifically about a particular project that you did not fit the mold for? Why is it that how did it come to that being that creator's mindset that he was trying to block out everybody else because you didn't fit that mold?
You don't have somebody who is not an experienced artist who has not gone up against these things or have not felt these things.
But I'm not talking about all of them. I asked a particular question on a particular project. The particular project being that this creator. We got to stop talking over each other. We got to stop that now. We got to stop.
But it's wrong though. It's wrong. It still is wrong.
But stop. Every damn week I gotta tell you to stop because you continue to talk when I ask you to stop.
But you're talking over me. I'm still talking.
No, I am on this banner. Your show is Friday.
Okay, but you invited me on, so therefore you wanted my opinion.
Stop. You are still going.
But you can't tell me to stop talking though. I was telling my opinion.
But I love it though. Okay,
I'm not going back down because you feel something.
It's not about backing down. It's about the respect of everybody else getting a word in, and you don't do that. You got to stop talking and let somebody else talk.
But you talking right now, so say what you got to say.
Ooh. Yeah, I live for it.
I'm just saying, you can't ask me a question and then tell me you don't want to hear
it. But you didn't let me finish the question. You started talking before the question was even done. That's what you do. You do that every single time.
But you asked a question, and I had to answer.
But the question wasn't even finished coming out my mouth.
So what's the question? What's the question then? What's the question?
Again, while I was talking, you were talking.
But you're talking now.
Talk about it no more.
What's the question?
I'm gonna move on. That's it.
Okay, well you can't ask me a question. That's all.
Don't do that.
You asked a question and I answered it, and it wasn't what you wanted to hear. And that's fine.
Oh my goodness, Miss Kiki and Miss Zendaya didn't bring up a Kiki, and I am over here dying. What's next?
All right, so Mr. Donald Russell, okay, well, I guess he could say he was formerly R. Kelly's manager. He has been convicted of a 2018 incident, which is crazy because I never heard about this incident. Well, in December 2018, a threat was made in the New House Madison Square of New York City venue where they were screening. They were getting ready to screen what's it called? Surviving R. Kelly.
Oh, Mr.
They
Russell,
were getting ready
like
to screen it. So,
sweatshirt, like a balled up Russell.
The venue received a threat call, which is crazy, and they ended up having to evacuate the venue.
It was him. Don't tell me it was him.
It was him. He did it. He was convicted of threatening physical harm for interstate communication, and sentencing is set for November.
And this is how R. Kelly will survive. This is how he's been surviving this time from people like this.
He was trying to manage the situation. He didn't want the goings to get out, and he was desperate.
But this is the person that was managing his career.
He pulled the high school. He pulled the I'm going to call and make
the fire alarm.
Pull the fire alarm.
But just imagine the other people like him that was surrounding R. Kelly.
And that's why I don't think he should be the only one in jail.
It says, despite this belief, the jury cleared Russell on conspiracy charges, stating in a note to the judge that they did not think Kelly was involved with the threat. Assistant U.S. Attorney Lara Pomerantz presented the jury with the phone records she claimed proved the call was made from Russell's Chicago home.
And see a lot, not defending R. Kelly, but this is the type of people that were surrounding him, that was trying to do whatever they had to do to keep him up here so they can continue getting paid off of him. So that's
I don't, the stupid part about it is I don't know what he thought this was going to accomplish in trying to put this threat in this theater to make them all leave out. Like this wasn't going to make the show be seen. It really didn't work because the show was seen and is now award winning.
Okay.
Yeah, but in that moment they still had to evacuate the building, so that he didn't think beyond that. He didn't think about, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta make sure they don't go back into the building.
But that just created I say it did not work because what it did was create a headline for people going to go see this.
I'm not agreeing with him. I'm saying these are the type of people around him. His brother, who's now coming out saying that he lied on all those videos about R. Kelly. The girl, the wife, that's claiming.
What part do you believe? All right, so you brought that up. Which part do you believe? Do you believe he was telling the truth in the videos, or that he lied? Because I can say I would say he's lying now.
His brother? Well, he has nothing. He has nothing at this point. I would think he's telling the truth because he has nothing to gain. He has nothing.
Actually, he has everything to gain because he's getting a spotlight put back on him when he had none.
Yeah, but he has nothing to hold that spotlight up. You can get a spotlight over you.
Yeah, but you could get a couple $14,000 checks for going on people's shows. A couple $14,000 checks for going on people's shows to talk about you lying.
Who's gonna give him that? Nobody's gonna give him
nobody. I'm agree with you right there that nobody's gonna give it to him.
Right, so he has
you
nothing
can take your shot. You can try.
Yeah, because these are
the same face.
The only ones that's going you probably get seen on is Vlad TV, and they're gonna be laughing in the background. The Vlad TV,
and that's it. You don't get paid to go on podcasts. That's where this was.
Not at all. No.
Right. This is that's where he's at.
But that's where probably his hopes was, is that somebody was gonna pick up and ask him why he was lying, and he was gonna end up on Late Night with Jimmy Kimmel, and it didn't happen.
I hope he didn't think that far into this, because that's delusion.
They're both illiterate. I don't think they think anything further than what they know.
Yeah, but the part of me that sympathizes with R. Kelly, and I can say that with a straight face. You surround yourself with these types of people, and these are the things that are going to happen. Not to say that They are the
help,
reason.
and nobody helped him productively or to progress.
Who brought the girls back there to him?
He needed help, and they did not help him in the right way.
They only made it
helped
worse.
him instead. Right. I get that point. They did not help in the right way.
I've done a couple interviews, and people have been very upset the fact that I blame his wife too. Like, you're not gonna come out, and I understand now you're having to reclaim your time, but you're not gonna tell me you didn't know what was going on downstairs in your home or in your other home in another state, or while he was, you're not gonna tell me you didn't hear these things.
Say it.
You're not. And her whole thing has been, I had to make sure my children were taken care of. If their dad is fine, then they're fine.
So you saying she turned a blind eye?
While she's doing her little photo shoot clips, right?
She turned a blind eye, and I believe, and in all retrospect, the same way the wife you're saying would have had them feelings. That's exactly what the manager and everybody else was going through too. That's the same thing that all of these victims were going through too. You know, and not to be insensitive. I mean, at the end of the day, when it was all going on, everybody was thinking about their well-being that they thought was well for them at that time.
You're not going to count all of this. R. Kelly didn't go,
but then when things didn't go their way,
but some of the times he did.
Go their way.
But some of the times he did, though. You can't actually say that, because some of the times he did. Some of the times he drove to the high school and picked these chicks up.
Well, who drove it? He didn't drive himself home. It was always some type of security around him. There was
not back in the early 90s. There was no security back then in the 90s.
Well, who checked him into the hotel?
He would check himself into the hotels.
But ain't nobody see this little girl go up to that room.
But them girls didn't look like little girls. You remember how we used to dress back in the 90s? They didn't look like little girls.
And maybe, I'm sorry, maybe because I grew up around women.
And that's why, and I was a little girl too.
Yeah, and none of them at 14, 15, 16, 17 was dressing like little girls. They was at the Paradox. In our station, they was at the Paradox.
Okay,
and they what I'm saying is that,
but we knew which one was underage.
No, we did not. No, we did not. Because I know a whole bunch of pregnant teens.
No, we didn't.
From back then.
I know I definitely was in the bars and everything.
That's what I say, because I know a whole bunch of pregnant teens from back then that I got grown kids now that was back then messing with 22, 23, 24-year-olds.
And somebody knew. Somebody knew.
Being one
of them. I mean,
and the only one
when the baby was born. They knew when the baby was born.
But somebody knew, but you can't, if that's the case, does R. Kelly deserve to be in jail?
Because it don't take nothing but 10 seconds to get a good fuck, and then you go on about your day.
But if nobody could tell and nobody knew.
Nobody was trying to form, and then back then, the thing about back then is that nobody was trying to form relationships. They was trying to get a good fuck.
No, not these girls.
And my whole thing as a grown man.
I'm talking about back in the 90s. It was not about forming a relationship. It was about getting it off and then moving on.
You knew some hoes, because I knew the ones that was
they was all hoes. I'm talking about 14, 15, 16. I am ejected the Paradox. What was you there for? You was not looking for your soulmate.
Well, I wasn't no hoe,
but you wasn't looking for your soulmate either.
But what I'm saying is that I guess I'm trying to make the point of this is that I was a little girl. Him being a grown man, essentially, yes, he was wrong for messing with these little girls. But I remember being a little girl, and we wanted, what was it at the time? So I can just imagine if I was a teenager and R. Kelly, me as a young girl too, knowing that, oh my God, this man is too old for me. But me as a young girl thinking like, oh my gosh, R. Kelly want to mess with me.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying. But and that's where you got to go into it. The thing about it is statutory rape is a parental crime. A parent can enforce that. Because the child may not.
The parents did not. That was the reality.
That's what I'm saying. They're the only ones that can enforce it. So yes, I'm with you when you want to blame the parents,
and it wasn't
an
issue.
Something.
If he was an athlete, a musician, or a drug dealer, your family was cool with it. I know plenty of families who looked over that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just saying it's bad, but I'm saying somebody knew. It was plenty of cases where they talked about the grandmother knew or the mother knew These people need to be behind bars as well because you aided and abetted.
I guess the problem with being behind bars for those certain circumstances is what is the crime they broke. The only person in this scenario that broke a crime, the actual law,
neglect,
is R. Kelly.
Conspiracy,
child neglect, conspiracy, tampering. What was it called?
They got him on racketeering charges. They got him on racketeering charges. Many of those girls were brought to that concert and backstage by the parent, and that was quoted from Kelly Price. Many of those parents were bringing that child backstage.
Like I said, I believe it because they were worrying about their well-being and thinking that they were going to be well off.
But here's what we're not saying: those children were brought backstage. Those children were brought backstage, but was it the intent for the parent to give their child over as a sex slave? That's the question that still has to be asked.
Not necessarily sex slave, but what I'm saying is that, man, the intent might have been for them to be involved or sexually abused by R. Kelly, but intentionally they knew that they were bringing their children to an environment that was sexualized around grown people.
I don't know.
I
only know two songs.
The difference is the intent. It still has to be the intent. The intent was not for those parents to bring their children to a sex run.
I don't believe it.
If you're talking about backstage, if their intent was that, then that's something different. But I don't know if their intent was to bring them to R. Kelly.
That might not have been their intent, but their intention was bringing them into an environment that they knew was not appropriate for young girls.
But what do you mean by not appropriate? What was the not appropriate part? Bringing them backstage to meet R. Kelly? Is that the not appropriate part? Or bringing them backstage to R. Kelly?
Leaving them unattended. This is all they grown men.
I know I'm not disagreeing with the leaving them there with grown men, but was that the intent? The intent was they were trying to start for some of them. I don't know about all of them. The ones that I'm thinking of in my head right now. Okay, wait a minute, y'all. Let me finish talking. We just went through this. We just went through this. We cannot all talk at the same time. We just did it.
I just said. He didn't have one song that did not deal with sex.
Continue to talk when I haven't even finished getting out what I said.
But finish talking, then jump in there. This is radio.
No, it's not about jumping in there. We got to talk one at a time because we're all on microphones that don't sound right when you overlap them. You've been here a while now, and you know this.
And that's how I talk on my show. You leave a space.
I don't overtalk. I don't overtalk you on your show, do I?
Do you even show your face on my show, sir?
But do I overtalk you on your show? That's the question at hand right now.
But you're not typically the guest on the show. You wasn't invited as a guest on the show.
Regardless of inviting or not, if I appear and I start talking, do I overtalk
we're talking about
you
it. You're giving instructions on how you want to host your show. That's fine. But if you leave an open space, I'm going to jump in there and I'm going to
But I didn't even finish talking for the open space. I need to raise my hand.
Where's the raise the hand button at? I'm gonna just raise my hand.
My hand, please. Yeah. Cut it out. And wait till it comes to you. Solid. Now he's falling out.
Then raise your hand button. I can't stand it.
It took you out. It took me there.
I'm just saying, it's just.
Let me see how I lower it. Let me see if I can lower it.
Anybody that would bring their child.
He trying to smack your hand down there.
I can't even do it.
No,
the computer won't even work over here.
Any person that would bring their child backstage, especially in the 90s, to R. Kelly, he didn't have one song in the 90s that was not deal with sex.
What depends. I don't know. I can't even remember. I don't want to remember back then. Actually.
Everything was bump and grind. 12 play. Mm-hmm. I don't see nothing. Yeah.
Agree. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. But that's again, like I said, if they allowed their child to stay there, I don't think those were the ones that are actually going after statutory rape for their child.
Well, many of the artists
because that's not the ones that you're hearing about. The only people that are upset about this are the ones that actually were going after the child rape aspect.
when the checks stopped coming to them. Those are the ones that we hear complaining now because they want their poor child to come back home.
Then you have to ask that question: is that wrong when you not keeping up with your agreement no more? Now all bets are off.
So you defending an extortionist? You defending
if the agreement was, if there was an agreement in place that said, I will not say anything about such and such and such if you continue to make these payments.
That's called extortion.
That is wrong.
Yeah.
It is wrong and it is illegal. But what I'm saying is when you did accept that agreement and then you reneged on that agreement, is it wrong for me now not to start speaking? You not paying me no more.
Reneged and not defending him, but he reneged when you wanted to go around and get a book deal and an association with the money he was giving you. Yes, the checks are going to stop.
Okay, and I understand that too. But that means they broke their agreement with him as well. So that's double-handed. That's double-handed. I'm talking about for the ones that did not speak up because they were still being paid. They did not do anything against it.
But they was the same ones that calling the police like, I want my poor child to come back home. No, you wanted those paychecks to keep coming, and you thought by calling the police 1 or 2 times it was gonna make him keep writing the check. But then you tried to go around his back and join this group lawsuit. For many of you, that was frivolous because you knew where your child was.
Chastity, is it wrong? You have a
Did you raise your hand, Chastity?
I was going to raise my hand. That's what I was going to
go to the reactions.
Well, raise your hand, Chastity, because I want you to pipe up.
I can't
Is it wrong to renege on the deal? Is it wrong? If the deal was you paying me and you renege, should I not now file charges?
What I think is wrong is to even ever have a deal like that.
And I agree.
Essentially, if it was about your kids and it was about their safety, you shouldn't have been taking no money to shut your mouth.
But since the agreement was brought up,
somebody else's,
and y'all both parties accepted this agreement.
Yeah, it was wrong.
And then the renegation was on his part. Is it wrong that y'all talking?
Yes, it was wrong.
No, why was it wrong? If he reneged on a deal that y'all went into a deal together and he reneged on it, wouldn't you sue?
But many of them were suing, and that's why he pulled the money back.
Yeah.
That's why he stopped running the money.
Because they were suing him?
Yeah, they had already started.
That doesn't make sense. If you still keeping up with your agreement, there's no need for a lawsuit.
That they already knew what was going on, that their children was already over there. They already knew that what was going on and all this other stuff. And it switched up.
A couple of the young
because that's not what all of their, even though it's surviving R. Kelly, that's not what all of their complaints was. Most of them said they did go willingly, but it was wrong. They were wrong. They felt wrong in what their behavior was.
But when
they're
did it
older
turn
now,
wrong?
they can see back on it.
But when did it turn wrong, though?
But that's what I'm saying. Now they're older. Now they can see the errors of their ways.
It didn't turn wrong until these women were adults. And
but that's what I'm saying.
But again,
they got older and seen the errors of their ways. That's how it happens. That's how experience happens.
Was it an error in your way, or was he not wifing you?
But that's what I'm saying. But the same ones that were saying that are not the same ones that were pressing charges. That's what I'm getting at.
A lot of them were. They were all on. It was a, what do you call it? It was a group. It was a group.
It was a group, but it wasn't for the ones that said they intentionally went in on this. They just said that they saw the errors in their ways. They were not the same ones that prosecute.
And that's the difference. Some of them,
I mean, in his, but their ways too, because they were also adolescents that said they wanted to do this.
But in my opinion, those were just
like the ones now.
Those were just as bad
just like
as
the current two. They were chilled. They were underage at 1.2.
But they were just
as bad. But they want to be there.
Because those were the ones that are seeking the reality show and the fame from doing this. Like his wife.
I'm just saying. At one point in time, they liked it, and so did the.
That's what I'm getting at. At one point in time, they were down for it. And then when they came back and they got older, they saw the errors of their, they wanted to realize something was wrong with this.
Oh my goodness,
they realized they was not a part of that money no more.
Oh my goodness, he ain't just bopping and grinding me.
Yep, he doing it to everybody. Or he sent her home. I'm done with you.
With nothing. And most of their intent was to try to get a music career.
And a lot of them left knowing they were getting nothing and still
damn well they wasn't getting no music. If they could really sing, he would have had them singing. If they could really sing.
Exactly. That's that
whole
the childishness of it all.
Career, that means you had no talent.
That was the childishness of it all.
They singing now. That's why my boy is. They singing now. Well. That's why my boy got all them years.
And they were trying to really, and I'm not defending him.
No.
This was his behavior. But at the same time, the same way they were trying to throw, it was guys too. None of the guys even came out. Where they at? None of them weren't on Surviving R. Kelly. You couldn't get none of them to say something, even behind a mask or a distorted voice. You couldn't get them to say nothing. Like that's the part of me feel like this was all.
And I think the ones that weren't with it, that were still with him doing the taping of the show, like they really knew what it was. That's why they were so much in defense of him, because they really knew what it was. Like we did all of this willingly, like for real. And now those ones that were still with him doing that taping of the show that are not, now they're speaking against him.
He's married to one of them.
Yeah.
He said that he's engaged to one of them.
And that's what it was. It was all. It was given. It was given all.
But ultimately, what got him
R. Kelly
was not their. What got him was not their.
Raise your hand. Did you raise your hand, Monny?
No, it's his show. It's all right.
No, I'm the host. When I talk, I talk.
It's all right.
Ultimately, what got him wasn't even those people's portrayals. Ultimately, what got him wasn't them people's portrayals. They found the videos. So
they didn't find them. Those same people who was working for him realized his accounts were getting to zero, and they wanted to cash them in. They
found them. They found them. Damn, I can't even remember. I don't even want to go into it because I don't have it in front of me. But I know they found them.
And I think
after all this time,
and I think it was they were in a. If I'm recollecting correctly, I think it was in like a storage unit or something like that.
They found them. Okay. They conveniently.
I mean, the storage unit was in his name, so I mean, it probably wouldn't have been hard to find one way or the other because it was in his name.
So all the other court cases, they never thought to go through his storage bins.
No, because you remember that was the 90s. I mean, that was further back in time than the internet allowed you to.
It's still in his name. It's still
right, but it was further back than the internet would allow. The internet capabilities would allow you to search. Where now you got bank transactions that you could get to
that's the owner of
like that and find these storage units.
But that's the owner of the storage. If it's in R. Kelly's name,
the whole thing should have been called.
No, but what I'm saying is in the 90s, we were talking about the early beginnings of the internet. There was nothing that was there was no capability like there is today to scour somebody's bank statement and find something like that.
A lawyer, a detective, they can find it if they're
but I don't think he had that storage unit. But I think what prompted him to get the storage unit was that case.
It should have been called setting up R. Kelly. I'm just saying.
Right. But he didn't go. What I'm saying is he didn't do these things himself. Some assistant went and got that storage bin. Some personal assistant, some manager, some PR person went and got and knew what was in there. And him being dumb, making videos.
But that's to say that you keep saying like he doesn't have legs and arms and can do things on his own.
He's not doing this stuff himself.
Why would you think that? You don't let other people
even know how to read. He doesn't even read
that would make a serious criminal. That would make a serious criminal. You don't let.
But I'm
you think
saying
a lot of times, yes, when he got to get out, yes, he did probably scout some of them girls. But yes, I agree with Nate. A lot of that stuff like that, a lot of times, like when he really got his problem,
even in the beginning of Surviving R. Kelly, they talk about how he pulled up on the high schools. They even talk about that, how he pulled up on the high schools.
Yeah, but they often said he was not alone. It was always somebody with him. It was always somebody at the
What? To read the
McDonald's.
stop sign?
It was always somebody at the
All right.
Even
I don't
the
want to
older
relive
woman,
R.
even
Kelly.
the older women who were alleging, like, you know, he did things to them that they didn't like. Some of them were saying they was there. They were saying he was there and was saying when the young women or whatever was coming in the house. None
This
of them
story
said
was
anything.
not about R. Kelly, and I want you to drop this now. We have already dictated and
we
sentenced that
man,
man. We
Darnell
cannot.
Russell.
He's not
Darnell
getting
Russell
Me
released.
and Chastity could do is just go
He's
with the
not
flow.
getting
That's
released.
all we can
He's
do.
done.
Just go with
It's
the
done.
flow.
And now we're going to move on.
All we're doing is going
That's
where
what
you're
I thought
leading.
I was
I didn't
doing.
lead y'all to surviving R. Kelly. We were talking
We
about
didn't
Darnell
lead you
Russell.
there.
That's
We were
what
not
I
talking about that.
thought we would do.
Are you saying we forced you to talk
To
about
continue
R.
to talk
Kelly?
about this part, yes. And that's
I
what
don't
we'll move on.
believe it. I need a playback. Play it back from here.
So, okay, move on. A 37-year-old woman. Whew, this one was a good one. So look at this. So this woman goes into the Dallas Love Field Airport. This happened on Monday. Good thing I was already home. Sheesh. And is he talking? Can y'all hear him?
I can't hear him, but I see the video.
Oh, hold on.
I don't hear the sound.
And after she said that, she pulled out a gun.
Hold on, I'm gonna start it over.
Always get the ignorant person.
It makes me sick. Look, the dark skin one.
They find a light skinned man to doing.
What happened?
Well, basically, a woman walked into the airport, said she had an announcement to make. She basically said her announcement, talked about her husband was cheating or something, and she basically said she was about to blow the sucker up. And after she said that, she pulled out a gun. She fired the first shot in the air, and basically everybody scattered. After that, we were running, and we heard maybe 10 to 12 more shots after that, and we was just all over the floor trying to get out of there.
What was going through your mind in that moment?
Just try to get home to my kids, see if my wife was okay, just to get out of there.
Y'all were checking in?
Yeah, we was checking in.
Where were you headed to?
Miss, that
was none of her business.
Better check.
Right.
Damn.
That part was none of her business.
I was trying to say, basically, you better check if that wife is okay. Like, baby, I'm not cheating.
That part was none of her damn business.
Where you going? But see, but you
None.
know what? Police do that. Police do the same thing. Sir, you just asked me about what just happened right here. What I'm doing is irrelevant to you.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure he wasn't involved. Trying to
No,
make sure
they
he
asked me
wasn't
one time, are
involved.
you renting or are you buying? What? Why?
Right. What you doing?
But
A
anyway,
survey
the
right now?
37-year-old woman, you know, she shot at she basically said her husband was cheating or something, and she was about to blow the sucker up. That's what the quote was. And that she fired 10 to 12 more shots after that.
I would have moved soon as she came in there and talking about making an announcement.
It's so weird to me because I'm still trying to like wonder, was she at the first, you know, the front part of the airport? Like, where was this taking place? It only could take place there because how did she get the gun through security?
Right.
So she wasn't in a concourse
that
or
you can
in
get
the
it through there.
inside. So she had to be in the front part, right there at the, you know, at the gates, at the at check-in.
And bust through. Like, right, where was airport security?
Yeah, so you drove your car all the way to the airport. Did your husband work at the airport?
What's
the reasoning for going to the airport? Was the girl that he was cheating with at the airport?
Probably
what was the reasoning?
TSA, because they known to be hoes. The baggage claimers and the TSA, they hoes. It's nothing but hoes that work for TSA.
Oh, it's giving correction.
I'm just trying to figure out like why. Like, why did she go there? Was she at baggage? Maybe she went to the baggage claim and she was waiting.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, why the airport? Like, where the husband was at? Was he there? Was he cheating?
Because you're going to jail for a long time. You went to the airport to shoot a gun. That's a no-no. You are going to jail for longer than you would have did if you went to the supermarket.
You gotta stop playing, and it's not to defend her, but you gotta stop playing with people because people click. emotions get tied up into relationships and people quit.
That's gonna be her only defense. That's what she's gonna have to go with. Insanity.
But shooting up
Insanity.
the airport, like, yeah, that's definitely gonna have to be a defense because
That's gonna have to be her defense. Temporary insanity. Because who else? Because why would you? Of all places to go to, the airport is not the one to do.
it's sure not.
Because if she lucky, she alive.
Yeah.
Well,
But just like I said, I would have got the moving.
So.
I would have got the moving as soon as if I would have been right there. Like, he heard a lot. He heard a lot. Basically, she came in here. She made an announcement. So as soon as she would have announced, baby, I'm blowing this thing up. I would have been Lee. I wouldn't have heard nothing else.
And look at me, and I'm sitting over
I'm
here,
just basically saying because he wore me out with basically.
When I was reading this story earlier, look at me. I'm sitting over here thinking I'm about to be the hero. I'm gonna take that bitch down,
baby. And if I was with you, I'd have been banging on your back. Baby, let's go.
I want to be a hero today. I'm gonna take this bitch down.
Oh, this big crazy. And then you would have ran up and she would have been saying you was the one cheating with the husband. In close vicinity, if I would have seen a gun or whatever, but initially he said she just came in and announced first, like, my husband is cheating and I'm right bloated. So I'm
okay. So here it goes.
I bet he's TSA. I wonder. He's either baggage or TSA.
The suspect was dropped off at the airport at roughly 11 a.m. and walked inside near the ticketing counters before entering the bathroom, where she reportedly changed into a different outfit than what she arrived in. This is what the chief, Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia stated. He said she came outside the bathroom wearing a hooded sweatshirt and pulled out a gun. So this must be all
it was
from the
somebody
video.
at the airport.
It said at this point, we don't know where exactly the individual was aiming. From what we are seeing, she was aiming at the ceiling. There are several rounds that were found.
So did the husband work at the airport and something that came out that he was cheating?
Oh, so she did get shot. So it says the officer on the scene shot the woman in her lower extremities before she was taken into custody. She's being treated at a local hospital. No other people were hurt. The police have not released the woman's name and no clear motive at this time.
He probably a supervisor or something like that at the airport, and it then came out that he was messing with them employees. Because for her to have this type of rage and go to the airport, go in the bathroom,
change your clothes. She had a duffel bag and everything. But see, that's what's going to, that's the problem that she's going to have if she's going to try to use insanity as a defense. You planned this too well, where you brought a pair of clothes to change into. You brought a pair of clothes to change into, so you had a plan to do this. And you also, outside of not just having that, you also had a duffel bag where you must have had the gun in there first. So you pulled the duffel bag out, you pulled the gun out the duffel bag and put that gun in your sweatshirt pocket so you could do this act of pulling it out at the
So she didn't even get to go through no monitors or nothing. She was like right there in the front.
Right. I can't wait to hear more about this though, because I want to know what her intentions was. What was the intent on going to the airport? Was it because it was always going to be people there to see you do this?
Speculating. I'm gonna speculate, and it's just my opinion that maybe her husband or something was an employee at the airport or something like that. Because it just sounds like she had something against the airport. So maybe she thought.
But then why not do that where he is stationed? Why do it in the middle of the floor?
Maybe she thought everybody knew that he was cheating. Crazy.
But do everybody know you?
I mean, maybe she just thought everybody. I don't know. I just need to know what's her rationale, like what you were getting to. Why the airport?
Yeah. Why the
airport? And you wasn't going there to shoot your husband. It's not like you went there and hunted him down.
You went there to make an announcement. Like you couldn't do that at the Ritz.
Home, and then to shoot a gun up in the air. Like, I don't get it. I want to know the backstory.
She ended up still getting shot anyway, so she could have died. She just got shot in her lower extremities, but you could have died. Like this, the airport is of all places.
And what I'm saying is, he really gonna be cheating now. He really gonna be cheating now.
Because she automatically made it to the no-fly list. Where you going now? You can't go nowhere. You are on that no-fly list.
And now you're in jail, like you said, for shooting up in the airport like that and doing all that.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to jail for a long time for shooting in the airport, particularly. That's going to be one of the charges. Right. And then you going on immediately on the no-fly list. You can't go no fucking where but in Dallas. That's it. You're going to have to stay in Dallas for the rest of your life unless you get on a bike.
And you're going to be in that jail for a while. So that's why
you're going to be in that jail for a while.
He's
going to
be
come out,
cheating
those
now.
marks are going to be on your history forever. Now you can't get no job. What's happening here?
What's happening? And it made no point because, okay, you got your point across, but it ain't stopping from cheating. And I'm going to say it again. He really going to be cheating now. You in jail. You in prison. Not jail. You going to prison.
All right, we got one more story for tonight, and then I'm going to wrap this up. We actually had several more, but I can save those for later. Maybe on Nate's show. Where he can talk over me. All right, so this one is about Kevin Hunter, who is Wendy Williams' ex-husband.
But I'm not
listen to
like
this.
On from some G shit and how you went out on me because of how you went out on me because of a girl, over a girl that happens to be my baby mama. Let me take the mother of my child. You're gonna strike that.
Yeah.
A woman that happens to be the mother of my child, you know, how you went out on me and made a mockery of the situation that really helped you. I can't fuck with it. But peace and blessings. I'm at a place now in my life that, you know what? Do what you gotta do, man. God handles all things. It's unfortunate that we wasn't able to go down this journey. Whatever part of the journey that I was essentially part of, I'm happy for, and do what you need to do. God will work everything out. But was it cool that you got on the air and made a mockery of the whole thing when you was part of it and you knew the family structure that was being instituted? And you know what? Regardless of my own actions, you know, there's a certain code amongst men.
Right.
The audacity.
So you say he knew about the mother of your child relationship and then turned around and
he introduced me to her.
Wow.
Did he say, put her vagina in your mouth? Put your penis in her vagina? Did he say that?
You should fuck her and fuck over Wendy.
You know what? It's not to even.
So y'all know who he's talking about, though, right? Y'all know who he's talking about.
No.
Yeah, the baby mother.
No, he's talking about Charlamagne.
Charlamagne introduced her to him.
Right.
And Charlamagne admitted to that.
He sure did.
But he didn't say go fuck her.
He did not.
And so you made a mockery of yourself.
But even if he did say, hey, fuck her, like, it's still your fault.
It's still your prerogative. It's still your decision to make a mockery of your marriage.
He can't talk about it. What mockery did he make? I'm not understanding that.
It's the code. It's these hood ass codes for me. To stop.
That's what it is. It's that mentality that is ruining. Like, you knew that code does not supersede your wedding vows. But you chose to put that man code type bullshit over top of your wife and your wedding vows. That was your choice.
Right.
That's not no code. That's your street vernacular. That ain't no code. The code is that contract you signed when you married that woman and then you stepped out on her. You broke that code. That was a legal code you broke.
And whether he knew or not, I feel like that part Charlamagne was minding his business. That's your relationship. Whatever you're doing is what you're doing. And for him to come and say that he made a mockery,
it was a lot more to that interview. He went through how he put Charlamagne on, how he helped Charlamagne get his career started, how Charlamagne wasn't even getting paid to do the first 5 years that he was on Wendy Williams' show. He was more so an intern, and they was paying him out of pocket, like he was their employee. He was going. How he gave Charlamagne his own apartment, got him his own apartment. It wasn't his apartment, but it was his apartment. It was Kevin's apartment that he allowed Charlamagne to live in while he was working at the radio station.
It was Wendy Williams' apartment.
And that's what I was going to say. Well, he wasn't supposed to talk about it, though.
He's basically saying that he was being disloyal, basically. and that bullshit. I hate that loyalty bullshit. I'm loyal to no one but myself, because if anything breaks, it's on me, ain't on everybody else in my royal family. Okay, it's on me. I'm loyal in the point that I'm your friend, and to the extent of friendship, but loyalty is bullshit. That loyal shit, because when all of this shit burned down, I ain't coming to live with you or you. I'm going to go do me.
No, you're not coming.
What you can?
I just threw your ass out the window.
I'm just saying, but that's the point. That's my point with that. Everybody claiming this loyal shit. There's no loyalty in life.
It is loyalty. No, I disagree with that. There's a choice of not having loyalty. But wrong is wrong and right is right. In the same breath that Charlemagne talked about their extramarital affair, he said, I lived in that house and there was a lot of stuff going on in that house. And
but
she was
loyalty is
one
not
of
a part
them.
of human nature. That's what I'm getting at.
I have a tendency of disagreeing with that only because I'm a loyal person. So I
what
know
does that mean? What does loyalty mean to you?
Loyalty means a lot to me. Loyalty
No,
doesn't
I'm asking your definition of it.
I won't tell your secret.
Let me raise my hand because I'm
asking. I'm asking
because I'm gonna give it because I don't want you to say I was talking over you because you just asked me.
I was finished. I finished the question. What does loyalty mean to you?
Loyalty to me is, even if we on bad terms, I'm not going to throw you under the bus. I'm not going to smear your name. I'm not going to be disrespectful. Now, my issue in life is the people who I've been loyal to have never been loyal to me, or for the most part have not been loyal to me.
That's usually the case.
But for me, I'm always going to be the loyal party, even if you're not going to be loyal. And I'm never going to disrespect you or go against what we. So the relationship we had when we were friends, that's how I carry it. I'm still going to speak. I'm still going to say hello. I'm never going to tell people where the bones were buried.
Okay.
I'm never going to do those things. That's loyalty to me.
So in making that statement, because I believe and I do agree that there is loyalty and that is loyalty. So are you saying that Charlemagne was wrong?
I don't think he was wrong because he only took a snippet of that conversation because he did an interview with Wendy where they sit down and talk, and then there was a snippet of his show, the show that they do, the morning show that they do, where he went and talked about it. Now he didn't say, he could have went deeper. I'm sure Charlemagne could have told more. All Charlemagne talked about, because they were blaming Charlemagne for introducing. So somebody else found out that he knew her. So all he was doing was confirming, like, yes, I did know her. She came from where I came from. They came from the same place. And all he did was say, I introduced them. He didn't say, hey, I gave him the rubber, or hey, I put the lube on his nightstand. I mean, because I'm sure Charlemagne could really go deep with what was going in and out of that apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Charlemagne could write a book right now.
So how do you define loyalty, Chastity?
Similarly, I think what he expressed is kind of my sentiments exactly. Like when I think of loyalty, it's just being, not doing that, like not, them secrets or them things about a person. I just now had them today. I say no one keeps it 100. You know how to be this thing, everyone's keeping 100. In real life, it's about 90, 95. Because you got some things or whatever that you would never tell nobody. I don't care how real or whatever you say you are. But loyalty, yeah. I mean, even when that means we separate, or even when I may even feel that, something or whatever is that you are doing. It's kind of like, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna make it no worse for you. I ain't gonna speak down on you or, speak no death on your name or anything else like that, because people do that. And that's what I think of when I think of loyalty. Like people. Oh, what you say? You say as soon as we ain't friends, that's when the shit begins.
And that's the problem. And see, that's the issue that I have with it, because
she did this and she did that, and I remember that.
I'm not.
No, I'm just playing. If that was the case,
I feel like
this show would be a lot more popular.
I mean, but for what though? Like, what do you gain by doing? Of course, you
popularity. I just said it.
But are you really popular for doing those things though?
If that was the showcase if that was what I showcased on this show, I think this show would be at the top of the. If that's what I showcase, I don't showcase that on this show. But if I did,
and in all retrospect, I can a little bit agree with that because people like messiness.
Yes, they do.
I just don't.
All the people that have left this station, if I read them on this station, it's like I'm just playing.
Into it.
I mean, you can do it jokingly, but at the same time, like for me, I don't gain anything.
Just from a personal,
Charlamagne has a reputation for doing that.
Nate, look,
yeah.
I'm gonna say
I'm
this.
just not that person.
I'm gonna say this, right? Just on a personal, on my personal level, and you know about it. If I said any of that on this station,
we be on. Well,
that's where we're going to end this show because I am not.
I keep a lot of bones, and I keep them because one, it went in one ear and out the other ear when you said it. But I just, it's not in me. Maybe I was raised differently, but it's just not in me. I don't get anything from bashing people, and I know a lot of secrets.
Right.
I know
Money, you thinking that you ain't loyal, but that says something.
No, that's not. I didn't mean to say it like that. Like I'm not loyal. I'm loyal to a point.
That displays loyalty right there. The fact that you even just bring it up, that it is things that you could say that you know for your own notoriety or to get popular or whatever like that. But it's like no,
but it's also a double-edged sword. But it's also
I
a
wouldn't even want that type of
too.
fame.
But it's also a double-edged sword too, because what I could say, somebody could also ask the question, how could you do that?
That's what Wendy was doing.
You know, because it's a double-edged sword. It could be embarrassing. Some of the stuff that I could say could be embarrassing for me as well. But I'm not going to say it. I could say it. I don't care what you think about me because ain't nothing. All right.
And I think, but I honestly, and just digging a little bit deeper in that, I just feel like that's why Wendy Williams has had a breakdown, because she said, bitch, out of everybody you could have been with, like you, first of all, you choose somebody who don't have shit. You spend my money on it and shit, and then you let the world find out. That probably, this is, and I have all the shit that Wendy Williams has done. One, first of all, now all these hoes out here trying to do that.
Yeah, she feels
trying to do that.
And he definitely wasn't loyal.
Damn, it just got hot.
But he definitely wasn't loyal. Because that was never supposed to. I feel for Wendy.
But
I gotta go, y'all.
He's an A-. So
no, I mean, don't hang up, but we gotta end this.
3, 2, 1.
It's going too long. It's going too long. 2.5 hours. We gotta go. Look, you guys, we'll be back. What is today? It's only Tuesday, so we'll probably be back again during the week. So stay tuned for that on BigBossRadio.com. We got Nate's show this Friday. I forgot who you told me that you're gonna be talking about on the show, Nate. So go ahead and tell us.
We're gonna talk about P-Valley if you have not caught up on season 2, and not just the sensationalized part of it, but just how people are really responding, specifically the quote unquote cisgender straight men, and how they feeling, because they have a lot of feelings like this. But just in season 1, there was a lot of vagina bumping and stuff like that. And we didn't hear from these people. So I'm responding to a lot of comments that I've seen from very well-known people, and not just Lil Boosie, but well-known people, because I don't think Lil Boosie even got stars. I don't think he got the money for that.
I'm going to fight you.
Don't try him.
We're going to talk about Marilyn Mosby.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunate loss.
Oh, she lost? Who won?
Yeah. Ivan.
Oh no, you know what? I always think about Anthony. Anthony Brown is the one that won state's attorney. I mean, attorney general.
Yeah, Ivan run and him and Roy.
But the count's not finished. Was it a big gap? That's why he won.
Well, that's they calling it. They saying it's her.
They calling it.
I don't
said
think
that
they
he
should be doing it. The
conceded.
county ain't even going to be finished until July 29th.
Yeah,
I just got that
Which is
notice today that my vote.
Thursday, y'all.
No, the reason why I say that because my vote
What we
just
doing?
got entered today. I
We
just
gotta
got the text
do
message today that my vote was counted.
And your
Yeah,
vote
but
would
I
have
think
couple in
that
it,
that
right?
happens after the fact, though.
It's
I
not
think
supposed to. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to be after it's scanned, and that's how the text messages are done. That's the law. Your account, you're supposed to get notified when your
Oh, but
account
they
has been
already
accepted.
called it. They said
Yeah.
they conceded her. This was a couple of days ago.
I mean, I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that it must have been enough margin of error to say that he won.
I get your
Because
point.
that's why I said my
So
vote.
it's
They
not
just
that,
I got
but it's
that
not that
text.
he won.
Let me look.
He
I
has
got
a
that
Democratic
text.
ticket. He has a Democratic ticket.
And he's going up against Roy Hanna.
Mm-hmm.
I got that text at.
I don't, but I've known, but I just think that happens just after the fact.
I got that. Oh, here you go. I got that text Monday at 2:08 p.m. Your mail-in ballot was received.
Oh yeah, they've been announced.
That was yesterday. Yesterday at
I
2:08 p.m. That's
They
what I'm
might
saying.
announce that. When was the
They're never
election?
on time with anything, so I don't even think that was. They probably counted your vote.
That's what it said, and it said goes on to say what else to say on that text.
I think that's just a courtesy text that they sent. Oh, we saw your shit.
That wasn't in real time.
Your mail-in ballot was received. We expect to finish counting ballots on or about 7/29/2022. Check the status of your ballot at vote.md.gov.
Oh yeah,
I think that's just to make y'all people who voted early feel
they
some kind
already
of way.
announced that he has conceded her.
She conceded to him.
I mean, I'm not mad. I mean, either way, I'm not mad at the decision. They both were, I think, were the top two candidates in the first place.
They gonna be crying.
What I was happy about is Wes Moore.
Y'all gonna be crying.
And I was happy about Anthony Brown. Those are the two that I was really happy about.
Anybody that's set to help us.
Yeah, and
it's not like it's over. She can still actually get in the race if she wanted to.
Green Party.
Shit can change.
Green Party.
That's what I say. Shit can change on the dime.
But I think as much as she was fighting, I think Sister is Todd. They did a lot of
the interesting part is that I think people might what they might do is do a write-in campaign for her and not vote for him in the end.
Right. Well,
which could be,
but I know everything is happening for her good.
Which can be fatal for the Republican candidate. I mean, not fatal for us, but fatal for for the Democratic side, and the Republican candidate could win.
Yeah. And that's the last thing we want back in there.
Right.
Because he already put out a statement on what he wants to do, and they're gonna be crying. They're gonna be wishing Marilyn Mosby was in her seat.
All right, that's the last word. Good night.
Yeah, good night.